Oh boy, once again, we have a mega show, so I hope you packed a lunch for this one. First, we start off with the ultimate Bassmaster behind-the-scenes show, Jake Latendresse with Jake's Take. He was on the back deck of the boat with Takumi Ito, and he's got a lot to share with us this week. As if that's not enough, we are joined once again by the one and only Takumi Ito, a two-time Bassmaster Elite Series champion, and he even shows us some of the baits that he used and how he fishes them. And that's not all. Outside of Takumi Ito winning this past week, the biggest story from this tournament is Trey McKinney's disqualification and how that affects the Progressive Bassmaster Angler of the Year standings. A lot of podcasts have given their opinion on it, but we went directly to Trey, and I do a 45-minute sit-down interview with him where he reveals a lot. All of this craziness happening this week on...
I'm Bob Cobb from the Bassmaster. Welcome to Mercer.
Welcome all friends, family, freeloaders, fishing freaks, and of course my humpers. You're all welcome here at the Awkwardly Honest Fishing Podcast that goes by my last name, which is Mercer. Welcome into the 168th edition of the Mercer Podcast, and I hope wherever you are, you're having a great week. Before we even jump into it, I got to tell you, this is a long one, maybe potentially the longest one we've ever done, but a lot gets covered on this. You can break it up. If you love long ones, you're welcome. That sounded weird. If you like them a little shorter, break it up into multiple attempts. But let me know in the comments. Do you guys, I seem to hear from a bunch of people that you really like the longer ones, but then there's some people who are like, yeah, keep them close to an hour. And I was going to break this show up into multiple shows and release a new show on Friday, but with it being a long weekend in the United States of America, I figured a lot of people got some time, and that's why we're putting it out the way we are. I hope you enjoy it. I'm not going to talk very much more because there's a lot to cover. Let's kick it off first with the Jake's Take. The Jake's Take? Jake's Take.
Let's talk about fishing.
Yeah, let's. If I sound like I just woke up, well, you know why? It's because I did. We're recording this ass early the morning after I got home. I shouldn't have swore that early in the show. Jake.
I'm still up from my airline debacle in Dallas.
You're at war with American Airlines.
Dude. I don't know what to say.
All I heard was a long sigh.
Yeah. I'm cranky. I'm cranky when stuff like that happens.
I feel like airlines, no matter who you fly with, you're going to have problems. And it's funny because no matter who you fly with, somebody, when you comment something like you did, they'll be like, oh, what'd you fly? Well, of course, it was Air Canada or it was Delta. But I don't feel like anybody. So I feel like, everybody's a bad experience with everybody. But the airline you flew may have had my worst experiences with them.
I definitely have. I'm really careful. We live in a branding, marketing world, right? We're just surrounded by it constantly. And when you say negative things about a brand, there's consequences, and that can damage and hurt. I've had it happen to me in my bar and my media company. You get one bad apple or do one thing wrong, and you get butchered online, and it goes south. And so I was really thorough with my thoughts about what happened with American Airlines before I hit send, because I know send is consequential, but I felt comfortable with it because they really just didn't even act like they cared about any of us on that plane or our families or our jobs or any of that. So I hit them up.
It's worst case scenario for a brand when you think about it, because you're going to have a bunch of time to write it too. Like when you're
right, exactly. I had 10 hours to think about that.
Let me just write this strongly worded post.
Exactly.
You can respond to people when they're commenting on it. Normally you just post something, you're busy doing other things, but you just post that and just sit and wait.
Yeah, go look at my comments. They're all like that long. And my comments, they're longer than the caption.
Then you go to the airport bar and slowly, but surely get madder.
Yeah.
I'll get but hey, you got a $12 voucher, dude. $12.
I know it expired too.
Oh, come on.
I never used it.
It was only. How long was it for? 12 hours? $12 and 12 hours. You got the 12 and 12 coupon, kid.
Midnight. It was it was about 12 hours. Maybe 16 at the most. I'm like, really, dude?
Here's what we'll do. This is how we'll satisfy our dissatisfied customers. We'll give them a coupon so that they can buy a Aquafina water at the airport, because that's what costs $12.
That's a 12-ounce water, not a 16.
And guess
it's
what?
$1 an ounce at the airport for water.
We can't do that. It's going to cost us all sorts of money. Don't worry. It's going to expire before the store's even open.
Oh, yeah. And I picked up, it was really early in the morning, so I was looking for some breakfast, and I picked up one of the pre-boiled eggs. And I couldn't afford it.
Your eggs got boiled already, my friend. Oh, well, other than your travel, you've had a good week.
Oh, dude. Unbelievable. I mean, this goes pretty deep.
Oh, so deep.
It
so
does.
Deep. As this week's event went on, and even the events leading into this week's event, I'm like, this week's freaking Jake Take is going to be fire. I mean, you may have let me down and not got the name of the bait at the last event or the little tool, which 55 people have sent me, said tool. If I was better at my job, I would have been prepared to tell you what it is. But maybe while Jake's talking about other stuff, I'll dig it up in one of the 55 texts, because people were paying more. Like even during weigh-in, after weigh-in, I usually try to see people that have come out or whatever. And there was dudes like yelling up to me, "Hey, that thing that so-and-so was," or who was it? It was John Garrett that was using it. It was this. And I'm like, wow, there's an incredible amount of people that were paying more attention than Jake at that point.
Oh, at the Wheeler event. Yeah. Well, it actually, once I started thinking about it, it dawned on me it was that little white clip that holds his hook in. Yeah. And I was just having I guess I was having a post heat stroke brain fart.
That'll happen. That will happen.
It did.
All right.
My age.
Yes, I hear you. I hear you. All right, let's get into this event. We've ridiculed airlines enough and talked about last event enough. We've got enough to talk about during this event. Also, you showed up late to this event because of another incredible event, which we kind of teased, and that is Walker's Junior Olympic debut. And it went very, very well, but we will get into that shortly. But, dude, as soon as you got paired with Takumi Ito, I was like, I've told you this off air, but I have to tell you I have to act like I haven't told you. Well, I shouldn't even have said that. I should have just told you, and nobody would have known I'd already told you this. But as soon as I saw you were paired with him, I was literally going to text you and said, dude, you just got paired with the tournament winner. But I'm nuts like the angler. So I thought if I send him that text, I'll jinx it. It'll go out in the universe. But Takumi pulled it off, and the streak of this podcast continues. I mean, you come on this podcast, you're probably going to win a freaking tournament.
No doubt. I mean, like he brought that up, right? And in his interview with you?
Yeah, on stage. I have to go get that clip, though. Right on stage, he said he was on the Mercer podcast, so that's why he's going to win. Justin Hamner won after the Mercer podcast, and Takumi is going to win after the Mercer podcast, I believe was the quote. And
that's what they.
We did it. Congratulations.
What is it they say? If you do it once, it's luck. If you do it twice, it's a pattern.
Yes.
Right.
The pattern is approved. So,
that's right.
Talk to me about your week.
So my week. I mean,
when you got there,
I was busy. What's that?
Sorry,
Before I
go
got
ahead.
there?
No, just
When
get
I got
into
there.
it.
When I got my assignment that night, I did not get to the hotel until midnight on Friday night because I had other things going on, which we'll talk about. Um, I looked at my emails and I got my assignment for Saturday morning, and I was so busy during the week, I had no idea what was going on. I didn't watch any live. I didn't look at the leaderboards. I literally did not even know who was in the top who made the cut line. But I saw that Taku was in the top 10. I saw my name beside him and I thought, well, that's ironic. and just, I texted him early that next morning and said, Taku, I'm going to be in your boat. I'll meet you at the dock. And he wrote back. And when you get a text from Taku, do you not do the same thing? When I read his texts, I read it in Japanese accent. He goes,
I
and he
thought it was
said,
just me.
no, he said, I'm so happy.
And he always just does like those red explanation marks.
Yeah, the red. Yeah, they're very demonstrative.
He does
like,
text
bam.
exactly like he talks. You're right. You're right.
So yeah, I got up, 3 hours later. I went to bed that night and woke up 3 hours later. Walked down to the dock as tired as I've ever been, other than last night. And jumped in his boat, and I had no idea what was going on. I just knew that it would be a good day because it's always fun to be in the boat with Taku.
Yeah.
Dude, he like everybody. Do you know anyone that doesn't like Taku?
No, I mean you can't. If you don't like him, you don't like the Easter Bunny.
Yourself. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
you're the problem. If you
You
don't
are the
like
problem.
Takumi Ito, you better look in the mirror and ask yourself why.
Exactly.
He is on, but he's what you see on stage. That's who he is. Like you see him in the morning and he bounces down the dock. Like literally, I've never seen him upset about anything. Like we saw him lose a fish during the tournament. I remember, and I was like, that's one of the rare moments you'll actually see him. Like he kind of crouched down and hung his head for a second and then got back up. But I was like, while I saw it, I said, that's the most upset I've ever seen Takumi in my entire life. And it was 4 seconds of being like this. And then, he got back up and caught another big one. So he got over it quick, but I've never, ever, and we spend a lot of time with these guys. We've seen everybody grumpy. We've seen everybody distracted. We've seen everybody under the weather. And Takumi is either the greatest actor in the world or that's just really who he is. And I think that's really who he is.
I saw one time, I'm going to tell this story because it is freaking hilarious. I was in the boat with Taku on Lake Fork, and I think it was day 3. And there was a guy, the marshal, at Lake Fork, we have a marshal and a camera guy in the top 10 because of the catch and release thing. So the marshal's wearing these Crocs, and as the bottom of his Crocs were wet, and he had his feet crossed up on the edge of the deck sitting in the shotgun seat, and he was rubbing his Crocs together, and they were going, and literally, this was going on for hours, and I noticed it. And I'm like, dude, like this is starting to bother me. And I was watching Taku. Finally, Taku pulls up to this spot, and there was no wind where we were, and it was loud. His feet were going. And Taku turns around. He turns around, and he had this eat shit look on his face. And he goes, "Excuse me, could you please stop making that noise? It's very annoying." And he turned around and started fishing again. I thought to myself, dude, if you push Taku of all people to that point, you need to take your shoes off or something.
What kind of adults wearing Crocs anyways?
On a boat.
No.
But
So did the guy
everybody
ever
loved.
make another noise, or did he just like both
No.
feet
Oh no,
apart?
he froze. He was like a popsicle the rest of the day.
Because that's like getting screamed at by Takumi. Like, I mean,
Exactly.
he might have just said, "Excuse me, can you please stop making that noise?" But you don't hear that because the way
He
he,
threw annoying in there too. That's like he could have just said, "Can you please stop?" But he said that's annoying. Uh,
oh, well, sorry, he does get grumpy. Keep your Crocs away from him. Oh, go ahead.
but it kind of is a factor. I mean, I get
Yeah.
like I prepare the food I'm gonna take out for lunch so that it's quiet because I'm like, no, I'm not gonna eat Doritos out there because if it's really quiet and I'm sitting there going and he's not catching them, then you know I just feel like any distractions you can tell if you're going to do something that's distracting
Yeah.
and you can tell by their body language that it's frustrating. So over the years I've just learned to eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and eat soggy Pringles.
Well, that's so respectful of you.
Yeah, that's
Is
the way
that
it
more
goes.
for the angler or more that you can eat on camera?
Yes.
A bit of both.
It's it's a lot of both.
uh, so you get in this boat day one. You
Getting this
didn't
boat
wear
day one.
Crocs, clearly.
No, I quit wearing flip flops too because my feet get sunburned. But
Uh-huh.
anyway, so it's like I asked him. I said, "Are we making a long run?" He says, "Yes, 25 or 30 minutes. That's how
Which on
far."
that body of water is a giant run. Like, I mean, it was
Yeah,
only 21,000 acres.
yeah, it's a big run. It looks like a big lake because it looks like an octopus, ironically, and
More to that story.
it's very thin, but it's got so many long, deep fingers on it, and uh, he makes a 25 or 30-minute run and starts fishing, and immediately, when Taku fishes, when he pulls up on his spot and he looks down at his Garmin, he's like, okay, they're there. Okay, they are there. Just like he did on the St. Lawrence when he won up on Lake Ontario. I remember, if you remember that, when he pulled up, he's like, oh my God, 500 smallmouth under the boat. He sees the fish first, analyzes how they're set up, and then sets his boat up and chooses his bait accordingly based on all those factors, right? And again, we've said this many times, even like all the Japanese guys, they create an action in their lures that's different than other people. And if you go back and watch the playback of Taku's win here on Smith, he talks about how Smith Lake reminds him of his favorite lake in Japan. And so he was very comfortable and he loves. I can honestly say now, after talking to him on the boat for 2 days at this event, I think he likes to catch spotted bass more than he likes to catch smallmouth. That's just like, that's his wheelhouse. And they react to him and the way he fishes better than all three of the largemouth, smallmouth, and spots. And he's obviously very good at it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he said on this show that Smith is his favorite body of water. Um, and when you look at his evolution as an angler, I imagine he does like to, like he doesn't like to get bothered by pesky 6-pounders that take a long time to bring in. He didn't like
God.
big, rough water when he first started. You know what I mean? Like Smith fish is very much like a smallmouth body of water, but you avoid all the nastiness of a smallmouth body of water, like the big waves and other than when it gets rough with boat traffic.
Boat
I
traffic.
got you there,
Yeah.
but you know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't. It you could see why he would really like it.
For sure. And it's all, for him, it's all offshore. It's it's live scoping, and he's catching them and he's fishing, and he's doing something different. And in the competitive, world that they live in, if not everyone was live scoping. I mean, Steve Kennedy proved that, he was very competitive in this event, doing it his way, right? Um, and what Taku was doing, he was just very specific about how the fish were set up and how he fished them. So when we moved from spot to spot, pun intended or not intended, he literally fished differently depending on where the fish were, whether they were suspended with bait, whether they were on the ledge, whether they were back off the ledge. And I'll tell a little secret. I'm very respectful, to all the anglers, particularly when they have little, favorable variables that give them an advantage. I'm in a position where people ask what's going on. They come to me like I'm going to give them the backdoor information, and I have to be careful about some of that because some of that stuff lasts an entire season, or it might last them a career or whatever it is until someone else figures it out. But one of the things that Taku is really, really good at, and if you're a front-facing sonar angler, you need to pay attention to this, because when you see the fish, especially when they're like spots or smallmouth and they're schooled like that in deep water, he doesn't just pull up on a ledge and go, oh, there's a whole school of them, and start casting to them. He is looking, he's analyzing his graph, and he's looking for where the fish, there's a school, there's like, let's just say there's a school here, and then over here there's one or two fish that are laying low, tight to bottom, or tight to a little rock or a stick or a tree stump or whatever it is. He focuses on that fish because, and again, if you go to an aquarium, like a big walk-through aquarium like in Denver or where in Miami or wherever, you'll see the big old fish hiding under the log or under the rock while all the other little fish are up there looking, acting like young little fish. And he targets those fish that are hiding because he thinks, but I think what more than he thinks, he knows those are the bigger fish, and that's what he targets. It's very interesting, and I don't mind saying that too much because he does talk about that on live, where he says you just don't, unless there's someone to interpret what he's saying, sometimes you don't understand it.
Yeah.
But he talks about how he sees many fish, and I know like school because I like single fish. That's where, that's who I'm fishing for, or whatever he says. And in my head, because my mom's Japanese, she has broken English, I totally understand what he's saying. I'm thinking, so he leaves the school alone and he targets the ones that are on the bottom, and they're harder to catch because they're older and they're smarter and they're not as active as the younger fish are. It's a really fascinating way, to watch someone fish with front-facing sonar. And again, I don't want to open up this big can of worms again, but there's a technique to it that makes it special and different. And some of those Japanese guys and some of the Americans too, and Canadians, the Canadians have that stuff dialed in, and there's small little details that matter and make a difference for them.
Yeah, I mean, if you hate forward-facing sonar, you probably hated this event. I get that. Other than the brief moments of Steve Kennedy, I mean, that was pretty much all. And here's one thing about Kennedy that I'll say. Dude, it is amazing how committed he is to things. Like at an event that seemingly numbers are not a problem. We saw guys like Cody Huff catch 100 fish a day.
Yeah.
But Kennedy's done this before. He will lock that approach in his hand. I remember he did it years ago at Bull Shoals with a big swim bait, and everybody was catching him on a crankbait, but he got bigger bites on that big swim bait, and he stuck to that. And you're always like, Julia Kennedy must scream at Bass Live, like, go out in the middle. Because he's good with forward-facing sonar. He very technically sound angler. Mm-hmm. But she must just scream at the screen, like, go out in the middle, go get yourself 5.
Just like everyone else is.
Yeah. And then, but it is, that's what makes Kendi so fun to watch. But Sorry, you were going to say something about him?
I love being in the boat with Steve Kennedy. He
Yeah.
is entertaining. He is so dialed in, like he's so focused, like it's almost like there's something wrong with him. He's so focused. And just like he
What?
did,
That's a
I'm just saying,
horrible thing to say.
no, it's not. It's a compliment. Steve, if you watch this, you know, and I know that that was a compliment. He gets so, just like he did on
Well, I
Okeechobee
don't know.
with that frog. He was one of the first people to get perspective mode with his Lowrance active target in his
Yeah.
transducer positioned differently. He was one of the first ones to perfect that, and he was watching fish in 3 feet of water on the beds, chasing, tilapia away, bait fish, all that stuff. And then he dialed his frog in. He was speed frogging based on what he was seeing with his front facing sonar in super shallow water in super dense cover. So that if that doesn't tell you, even I've been on with Steve on the St. Lawrence before, like when we were going out of Waddington more, and most people were still fishing the river. I would, Steve Kennedy, he treats that river like he's trout fishing for giant rainbows. And he fishes with these tiny baits, and he casts it upstream. He's in heavy current, and he lets it float down, and boom, all of a sudden you see a flash come up, just like you see a trout come up and grab a fly. He's always doing something different. And that's a lot of reasons why he has the success that he does. But at the end of the day, he fishes the way that he wants to fish, because I truly believe this, Mercer. He's like a little kid wrapped up in a man's body. He likes to have fun. I'm telling you, the guy, like when we
He's
were on
America's Takumi.
he is okay. That's fine. He's just so much fun to be around because he's having fun himself. And I'll bet you, when no one else is in the boat, if he doesn't have a marshal, he acts the same exact way whether someone's in the boat or not, because
Oh,
he's just having a blast.
yeah, and I don't think he remembers he's on camera half the time. Like, I
Probably
mean, I
not.
think he just focused. Like, been him and Takumi are two of my favorite guys to have on live, because anything that is in their head seems
It's
to come
coming out.
out. And I mean, the only thing that flaps Steve Kennedy literally is feedback from a microphone. He's the only pro that, like, when you go to interview him, if there's like at morning takeoff, there is a delay at times. So you'll say something and you hear it a second later. So you hear it repeat. It does mess with your mind. I mean, I've done it enough. I just block it out. Most people block it out. But Steve Kennedy, he'll be like, oh, that thing cross threads my mind. Get it out of here. You're infecting my solar system.
Exactly.
I love him. I
Oh my
love him.
goodness. Me too. I love his family too.
Oh yeah, they are awesome. They're awesome. But before the reason we started talking about Kendi, this event was pretty much dominated by forward-facing sonar.
Mm-hmm.
But I think to me, it stood out even more so just how much of a skill it is. And I don't care what anyone says. I have no reason to. I know, he works for Bass. He's trying to push the big. Nobody's trying. I'm sure Bass wishes it would disappear because it's more of a headache for them than anything. But dude, there's a skill to it. And when you watch how advanced some people are, and it's not just it's the precision of the casting. And I've said for a long time, it's no different than watching Greg Hackney with a jig pick apart a row of cypress trees. Greg Hackney throws that. I mean, everybody can throw their jig up against a cypress tree. Difference is Greg Hackney throws that effortlessly. He hits his target every single spot. When you watch Takumi, when you watch any of the guys that are really good with it, I mean, it is effort. They don't. I mean, people that have used it know. Like, normally you see a fish and you're like, okay, that fish is 80 feet away. This boat's 20 feet. It's 4 of these, and you make your cast, and generally you're somewhat close. They've avoided that whole equation. Happens so quick in their head, and they're just boom, the bait's falling right in front of the fish. It is
a
truly amazing skill.
And talk about people, really good front facing sonar anglers, they're looking down all the time. Here's one for you. When they're looking down at the screen, they're focused on the fish, they can literally, whether they flip it,
Yeah.
and these are spinning rods, okay? Whether they flip it or they underhand cast it or whatever they're doing, they're looking down and they cast. They know where their transducer's facing. When they cast, these are like no look casts that are surgically precisioned, placed in the water, and Takumi will cast past it and he'll reel it really fast. And of course, these baits that have come out that are more visible on front facing sonar are very helpful because they know where their bait is at all times. And that is so key because the way they have the uh, what do you call it? Their when they have the way they have their uh, monitors tuned, there's a lot of noise going on the screen, and they're having to move it back and forth to get it really dialed into where that fish is and what angle the fish is facing and all that stuff. And sometimes the fish will look like two fish, but then you'll see the tail or the you'll see the tail come out all of a sudden. It's like that's not two fish. That was a fish that was facing like this that turned sideways, and then you can see the tail. It's freaking. I don't man. I just think it's fascinating. I'm like glued to it. And Taku asked me, not to film everything on his screen. We didn't have it patched into, um, we didn't have it patched into live. But then he did tell me there were certain times you can film this because there would be a big school of bait fish and, 5 or 6 or 8 or 10 spots under it. And then when it looked like a normal situation where he wasn't giving any secrets away, he let me film it. When I'm dialed into that screen, I'm just fascinated by what's going on down there. And he always, the Japanese guys are constantly doing this. It doesn't matter if it's a drop shot, a wacky rig, whatever it is, they're doing this constantly. Even Daisuke Aoki on when I was with him on Pickwick, he was throwing a freaking jerk bait, and he still with his jerk bait, he's still when as he's jerking it in, he's still twitching it, and I believe that there's something about that the way they fish in Japan, and there's so many people that fish so few bodies of water for them that have largemouth in it that they're just used to combat fishing, and they've had to refine their techniques into the small minute details to give them advantage over all the other people fishing. And as they translate that into a tournament where they're fishing for fish like smallmouth, like on Lake Champlain or Lake Ontario or spots on Smith or wherever they are, it just translates immediately to what's going on underwater, and they're freaking good at it. And Taku's especially good at it.
That shake is, I mean, people use it bed fishing, but that shake is such a key, and that's also, I think, a lot of the baits that they use.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like they're using a lot of baits that need action put into them. There's baits that action just happens, but a lot of the stuff that Takumi's throwing, I mean, you need to have that shake, and you see how fish. I mean, when I'm shooting underwater stuff, I see how fish the shake, they feel that in their lateral line, and that there's actually I've had moments where fish are swinging away and you do the shake and it not just bedding fish, I'm talking about fish that they feel that all of a sudden, and it's and it makes sense when a bait fish scurries away, and when a bait, I guess they don't scurry, but whatever they do, when a bait fish darts away, that vibration, I mean, that's what they pick up on. So I watched when Takumi was actually shaking it, and actually, I mean, he's using super sensitive rods. I mean, everybody in the elites is, but I mean, but he's also grabbing his line while he's doing the shake. It was pretty impressive.
Okay. There's some detail to that. So, Taku has had his rods redesigned for what he calls power finesse fishing, right? So he rigs his rigs. They look like these, ultralight finesse rigs, but what he's really got on it is fairly heavy braid, 20-pound, I think 20-pound braid, and he's got these short spinning rods that are that have a heavy backbone so that when he sets the hook, he buries the hook in these fish. And if he's fishing deep water cover like tree stumps or standing timber, he can horse these fish out. Then he uses a 16, 18, or 20-pound mono or fluorocarbon leader on his rigs. So for the same reasons, he doesn't have to hesitate and waste time, trying to finesse these fish in the boat and tire them out. He horses them up. He gets them to the surface, and as soon as they get to the boat, he bread loafs it and throws it in the boat. And I think that's a big part of, his success, ironically enough, because he did miss that one fish that got aired on live, but he very few times does he miss. The other thing about the details that he was paying attention to was he knew that these fish, let's say his bait's here, the fish swims up and he's looking at it and he's watching it on his front facing sonar. A lot of times those smallmouth, because they're so competitive, will come up and grab it and swim away with it, and then they set the hook because they can feel it. These spots were coming up to it, and they were literally, they would suck it in and blow it out simultaneously in less than a second. So, and that's something you can't see on front facing sonar. It's something you have to understand, whether it's a little twitch in the line. I don't even know how he could detect that, but he would hold, like if this was his rod, he would hold the line in his one hand and he could see the fish coming. He would let go of it, and literally his his hook set was like Floyd Mayweather jabs. I mean, it was like super fast. And 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 another thing he figured out was if he missed, instead of reeling it in and resetting and recasting,
Let it.
he would yo-yo it back down and be really patient. And if you go back and watch, or if you watched it live and you remember, he literally missed almost every single fish that he ended up catching. He missed two or three times before he finally made that hook set. And these are fish that he was targeting. These weren't schools of fish that were being competitive, coming in and eating his bait. This was one fish. He would yo-yo it back down, and boom, on the third or fourth try, he would have a positive hook set, and he always buried the hook in the top of their. If you go back and look again, you'll see that the hook is always buried in the top of their mouth and the roof, and they were not coming off.
Why shorter rods?
I think,
How short are we talking?
I don't know because I didn't look at the graphics on the rod, but I think they were 6.5, 6'10" maybe. I don't think they were 7-footers for sure.
Wow. Because you
Yeah,
would always think like deeper fish, especially as deep as guys were fishing, you would think a longer rod for leverage. The other thing that, like you mentioned, the heavier line, me and Carl Jacobson talked about that on the FS1 show. And he's like, half this field is out there trying to throw 2 and 4 pound tests to act like the Japanese guys. But the truth is, that's not what they're doing a lot of times.
Kyoya was fishing with 20-pound leaders on a Toledo Bend, because he was in those trees and he was horsing them up too. I mean, it's, and again, I think Kyoya and Taku are now friends and allies. They didn't know each other. I I just think that I don't think that they're collaborating and sharing all the information, but I think they're allies. And like you said, you know what I found to be so interesting when you were talking to Taku on stage was that he comes from a YouTube background, like Ben Milliken, right? But he
Yeah,
was
yeah.
in Japan,
Yeah.
and he's funny. All the things that crack people up. That's what Taku is. And then he comes over here. He doesn't leave. I'm not going to say he leaves his family behind, but in a family agreement, his wife and his two super cute little boys are at home, 16
Boy and a girl,
hours.
no, right? Doesn't he have a
Is it a
daughter
boy and a
too?
girl? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. It is a boy and a girl. I'm sorry. My bad. My
Yeah.
bad. My bad.
Gosh.
And
Stickler for the details.
and Chi is taking care of the kids and basically running the brand business at home. And Taku is 6,000 miles away in freaking Alabama fishing. And this goes on for, 7 or 8 months out of the year. And when you go back in time and you think about the earlier guys like Takahiro Omori that came over, gave everything up, lived in this completely different culture, and 30 years ago, it was so different than it is now, a whole lot less acceptable to, different cultures and races and all those things, and all the endurance that he had to go through to get to where he is today. Taku's doing it in a different way, but it's still the same thing because of all the sacrifices that he and Kyoya and all of them, Kenta, they all left their cultures behind to come over here and chase a dream. And I think that's something that it should always be acknowledged and appreciated and respected about these guys because they're in a different world and it's not the same as us. It's not the same for us. It just isn't.
That's why I brought that up on stage because I mean
Mhm.
I've known that and I think people know, but the amount of people that have responded to that since that said I
Had no
no
idea.
idea that he was just, and it's amazing. Like he literally said, I want to do this. And it didn't take him long. I mean, he showed up, he qualified through the opens.
He's
Seemingly
got
to
two
me, he's getting
wins.
better and better. And I think that Kyoya noticed that, if you ask me, because when
He's
I
just
told
ultra.
you when we left, I think it's just a funny interaction because Takumi talked about Kyoya in last week's show. He never said anything bad about him, but he just said he is very, he's all for work. He's like Takumi's jokey, and he said you compared him to Jay Shakira. You know what I mean? Which is, I think, a good comparison in the way that, like, but I'm leaving the tournament. And ironically, I guess they FaceTimed you too, or called you during that moment, which I didn't know.
Uh,
But I'm leaving the tournament. There's nobody in the parking lot except for Sego, who is a great Japanese photographer, lives in California. Is at all the Bassmaster events, and he's kind of our conduit to the Japanese anglers. Kyoya and Takumi, and they're all around the boat. And I pulled up to say goodbye and everything. And Takumi looks at me. He is like, we are now friends. Him and Kyoya. But I think what he was saying is like we're communicating now. Where before they,
they're
Kyoya
just
came here to
there
do
was
a job. I
there
mean,
was yeah, distance and lack of relationship because they didn't know each other. It wasn't like they're enemies, but looking into all of this, everyone, I mean, they came over here because they're competitive, right? They came over here to compete against the best anglers in the world to see where they stand, and they came over here because they believe they can compete in this arena. So the competitive edge is there, but now they're allies. And I just want to point out, look, that is that's a picture that Sego took of me and Taku on St. Clair when he came in third, when he really actually when everyone actually fell in love with him
yeah,
before the smallmouth Disneyland event on Lake Ontario. This is when, remember, he caught that smallmouth with a eel, with a lamprey eel attached to it,
yeah,
and he didn't know what it was, and he was freaking out because it fell on the bottom of the boat. That's really when Taku came into the Bassmaster scene as this lovable Disney character.
yeah. Yeah, no, he is amazing, but Kyoya much different. I mean, he'd won a bunch of tournaments in
Yeah,
Japan, so you
that was
see
the
his
contrast.
progression um, making such a jump. But for Takumi to do what he's done is unbelievable. And to me, I mean, you brought up on stage, dude. He has every reason to fail on stage. I mean, he is a second language. It's he does never fishes in front of his hometown crowd. I mean, Jordan Lee, it's easy to get a pop in Coleman. Everybody wants him to win in Coleman. He's from Coleman. He never gets that anywhere we go, but he orchestrates the crowd. Like he is so much fun to work with on stage because he is so smart. Like, I mean, my job is to try and throw softballs at guys, and sometimes they hit it. You know what I mean? Sometimes
Sometimes they
he
don't. Yeah.
never misses, ever misses. Like if I ask him, and sometimes I'm like in my head before I even ask the question, I'm like, this might not go the right direction because, I mean, there's a language barrier. It's harder on stage. He always picks up on it. It's amazing what he does on stage.
He does
So
the same thing on the boat. When I
yeah,
cue him, or I don't even have to say, I'll just say something like, "Wow," and he'll go, "Wow." It's and it's different. It's different. And it's funnier than when I say it.
Okay.
he,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say he's very tuned into that, and I'll bring this up. And again, this is I love Taku. My mother's half Japanese, all that stuff. But I'm gonna say this because it's funny and it's relevant. I had a friend from Knoxville, Tennessee. He's actually from Memphis, and he's a Chinese guy, really short little Chinese guy. He's a stand-up comedian. He came up
Of
through
course he is.
yeah, his name's Henry Cho, and he used to perform. He made it to the Showtime and HBO level of stand-up comedy, right? And his whole act, he would walk out on stage, and again, he's this short little Chinese guy. He'd walk out and he would lower the mic down so it would fit his body size, and then he would look around, and everyone's super quiet, and he's from Memphis, okay? He's from Tennessee. He would grab the mic and go, "Hey, how y'all doing?" And so the reason I brought that up is because it reminds me of Taku seizing the moment when he has the opportunity, and it's not fake, it's very real. He just knows how to go about his business, and he's really good at it.
He's incredible. He's
He is.
incredible.
Love the guy.
Talk to me about Bates.
Bates. What can I tell you about Bates? They all have these weird. Here, I'm gonna show you this if everyone can see
Whoa.
this. So, if everyone wants to know what Taku's baits were, this is the company and brand Sticky Splat. That's what his baits look like. They're these little gumball machine toys that look like sticky splats.
Yeah.
And you throw it up against the window, it goes, and then it just starts to fall off over time. They're wild. They're crazy. There's many of them, different variations, sizes, shapes, actions. And I think, bait companies are catching on to this because someone mentioned this not too long ago. We've gone from your standard plastic worm to and crawler soft plastic uh, crawdad bodies to these creature baits, right? And there's all these little legs and tentacles, and you think there's nothing in the water that looks like that at all. I mean, all the net bait, Sixth Sense, they all make them, right? And so I think those baits are variations of what the Japanese anglers over the years have brought to the table and shown America that it doesn't have to look like the baits that they're eating. You don't have to match the hatch, but you do have to fish them specifically and with technique so that it entices the fish that aren't active. I mean, that's what they're doing. They're using these baits to catch fish that you can't catch under standard
Yeah.
crankbait or shaky head or Texas rig or whatever conditions. They're targeting fish that are negative or neutrally set up. And those are the bigger fish, and that's why they're succeeding because they know how to fish for those specific fish.
Yeah. And
Agreed?
all of those baits, when you see them, I instantly see them shaking. Like all of those baits,
Exactly.
like the baits that he showed for top 10 lures were the bait that, he called the pancake bait. He called the
What?
pancake bait.
Yeah.
um,
That
and
looks
it
like
was
a
like
flounder.
it was like a flat, and it's got these crab claws, and he had kind of a Nico weight in it, so it would fall face forward. If you want to see it, check out the Mercer in the Morning that I did Sunday morning. Which thank you guys for tuning in. I mean, who thought people would tune in at 5 a.m. in the morning? But people are actually tuning in. So I did a Mercer in the Morning Sunday morning, and he actually shows his baits, and he's got the the pancake bait. He has a dice bait, basically, that we've seen
hanging on rearview mirrors in cars.
Yeah.
In 1978.
But what he also has is something that I have right here. That's the magic Takumi powder. That sometimes
magic dust.
Sometimes he gets tired, he says, and it gives him energy. But I've had this for a while. It works. Obviously, he gave me this. Thank you very much, Takumi. But I'll tell you one thing I did wrong. When I see that Mercer in the Morning segment that we did, he opened his tackle box. And dude, like, I'm shaking this stuff on like you're adding salt to French fries. He basically batters his baits. Like, when you open the box, it is so full of this stuff.
Looks like he's about ready to throw them in a deep fryer.
Yeah.
Seriously, yeah.
And it doesn't, like, to me,
he's infusing.
It smells like it almost smells like, fish food, like flake food. You know, when you feed it, tropical fish or whatever in an aquarium. It doesn't have like a crazy stench,
shrimp smell or any of that. Did you see the post that Lee Livesey made about the net bait scent stick that he uses on his baits? He posted it yesterday, I think it was last night, and it shows an underwater camera in an aquarium shot of a Texas rig, I think it was. It goes down, and he rubbed it with that scent stick, and you can see like you can see the scent dissipating into the water, and it's like a time capsule. So when Taku infuses his baits with that powder or whatever Taku sauce that he's using, he knows that he doesn't do it every single time. Like, you'd think a lot of those guys that use scents.
No, it's the trigger. It's the rolling your fist at the end of the punch. It is the trigger that makes them
believe it's real, and then they want to eat it like it's cocaine. Fish cocaine. The bear cocaine, or cocaine bear, cocaine fish.
And dude, we know that all works. I mean, Berkeley has a whole lab that spends in. I've seen it when I'm shooting underwater footage. I've seen footage where fish get accustomed to things. Like, I'll be throwing a power bait at them and they'll eat it, but then they'll stop. And then you throw a max scent bait in and boom, they eat it. You know what I mean? Gulp. Different things, like scent really matters. And I think with this stuff, I mean, Takumi he's a huge believer in scent. Obviously, we've seen him marinating baits, or as he calls, cooking baits.
Yeah, exactly.
Months before. But that shows how precise everything is. Like, it's precision movements, like holding the line and everything he's doing, but precision baits. And even to that level, it's pretty wild to see.
I mean, when you look down at his rods, when let's say we're running from one spot to another, or at takeoff, or even just at the dock sitting still, if he has some of the baits that he's going to use on his deck, on his rod strapped in, the boat's just sitting there, and the boat's never still, right? When you're on water, you're always at least moving a little bit.
Just blowing my nose. I think I got a little. You got some powder in there.
Some of that taco
Let's go.
sauce.
Come on, let's do this show. Let's get it going.
Okay, let's get right. I got some too. He gave me some too, man. But you can see his baits. They're just sitting there on the boat, and they're just jiggling. They look like they're alive. They're like an upside down beetle that's trying to get turned over. You know what I mean? And I think that has a lot to do with it. In fact, I thought after this event, I thought about, man, you could probably go out and make a bait of any kind that has long fingers and arms and things on it, and just make it. It doesn't matter what it is, because the fish are curious to it. Then they scent it, and then he twitches it. And again, I know this analogy has been used many, many times, but there's no better analogy than you're playing with a cat. Like, if you tie a little plastic mouse or whatever on a fishing little Snoopy rod and you're playing with a cat, that's what they're doing. They're forcing the cat out from under the couch.
How does he powder his baits as he's fishing, or is it
No.
just like he puts the powder all over them, breads them basically?
Yeah, I was gonna say he gets them out like this. He goes.
Yeah. He told me like crappie fry. Crappie fry.
That's what they look like.
Crappie, like, and they look like breaded little
Flatfish.
crappie chunks that you're about to throw in.
100%. 100%. And he used the same bait on Smith Lake to catch a lot of these spots that he caught. It was the same exact bait that he used to catch largemouth on Lake Fork when he made the cut there. So, and I'm telling you, it was the same color, the same rig, everything. And so, that just goes to show how versatile and how, they're green. They don't even look like something like you think, I got to go get the most realistic bait possible because these fish are freaking smart. These are the smartest fish on the whole lake. It's technique versus realism.
How was he working the baits?
Shaking it. And he knew where to place the bait based on how the fish that he targeted was set up. And again, he'd catch a 2-pounder or a pound and a half spot, and the first thing he would say was, "It's so difficult. I can't catch the fish I want to catch through the school. I have to get behind the fish, behind the school." So, it's really how it's there's just so much. It's not simple science. It's very complex, and there's so many little thoughts in what he's doing when he catches the right fish, and none of them are accidental. Every single one of them are targeted fish. And Kyoya was doing the same thing on Toledo Bend, man. There was no I'm just going to cast into the school and see what comes out the other end. These are, I'm going to catch that fish right there. And they catch that fish right there.
Very cool.
Amazing.
You got anything else? I know you got other things you won't tell me, but
well, let's talk about that big old 6-pounder that blew the whole internet up, or five and a half, 512, or whatever it was.
VIP move of the week. Camera goes down. Takumi catches the biggest bass of the entire tournament. Our Phoenix Boats big bass. Don't worry. Cameraman Jake Latendresse has his cell phone.
So he pulls up on this spot. So we gotta go rewind a little bit.
Yes.
We had a microburst storm come through. And we were right in the middle of it. I didn't bring any rain gear because it was so freaking hot and humid. I'm just like, if I get wet, I just get wet. I brought my camera, a rain fly for my camera, and that was it. And so I look up and I look down this channel, and there is a freaking wall of water, and it's totally still where we were. The sun is still out, and behind it, the trees are just going. And I looked up at Taku and I said, "Taku, I think we're about to get wet." And he goes, "Oh, really?" And he looked over and goes, "Oh my goodness." He puts his rod down, opens up his locker, puts all of his Gore-Tex on, puts his hood over, and I'm telling you, within 3 minutes, it looked like we were in the middle of Hurricane Katrina.
It's like a monsoon.
Dude. Oh my God, it was unbelievable. I've never filmed in rain that hard in any event ever. And so I'm just getting soaked. One of my media cards, I don't know how it was raining so hard, it was actually penetrating the rain fly on my camera. One of the media cards went corrupt, and I'm just sitting there going, "Oh shit, this is not good," because this is like 11 o'clock a.m. when this started. And mind you, if for those that don't either remember or understand, these two Alabama events, our tournament time changed from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. to 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. check-in time. So it's 11 o'clock. It's starting to feel like it's getting kind of late in the morning. Um, and this is again championship Sunday, so he thinks he's still behind because he's still got all he's got in his box are like 2 pounders. I think he had maybe 12 pounds at that point, 2 pounders and some change. And he still had two that were under 2 pounds that he needed to at least get rid of to not lose any ground from where he started. So this monsoon comes through, and I'm telling you, like the wall of water you could see coming, you could see the end and where it finished. So once it got past us, it's sprinkling a little bit. There's a rainbow up there. The sun's coming out. All the boat activity starts up again. And as soon as the rain leaves, boom, he hooks up with one, gets it to the boat. It's like a 2.8 or a 2.10, throws a little dink back in. So he upgrades that one fish. And he goes, this storm changed everything. The storm changed everything. So he didn't even tell me, okay, we go. He just straps his rods down, pulls his trolling motor up. I'm getting everything back under my feet, and I'm recovering from hurricane that we just went through. And I get down, buckle up my life preserver. He takes off and goes back to a point where there was this floating dock float that was sideways, cabled to a boulder under the water, and he was just off of that where there's this big, huge, towering boulder underwater, and I think it was like in 50 or 60 feet of water. And obviously the fish are on top of it. And he pulls up to it and he
Is this
goes,
Taku Point?
yes, this is Taku Point. There's a tree next to this boulder, which
Taku
he called
tree.
Taku Tree. He goes, and then he said, oh my goodness. He goes, I think stripers. And there's like four big fish. You could see them swimming like these. You could see their tails. And he's like, I think they're stripers. And I'm going, he cast it to him. And I'm like, dude, like, why would he cast to him? If he thinks they're stripers, why would he cast to him? Because if he hooks up on, it's going to be 20 minutes before he gets that thing to the boat. And he might bust a line, have all these things. I'm thinking, this is not good. He hooks up my camera. I'm looking through my lens. At this point, I'm still trying to film. I'm looking through my lens. The whole thing is fogged over. Like I couldn't even see Taku through my lens because of the temperature change and all the moisture. And then the heat rose and it fogged my lens up. So I put it down in the driver's seat. And then I thought, no, like if he lands his fish, sometimes he likes to go to the driver's seat to land his fish because of his spinning rod and his right arm. And so I moved my camera to the back deck, hoping it wouldn't fall in the water. And I literally reached in my pocket and grabbed my iPhone out. And I was like, he was like already in the hook set trying to land this fish. And he couldn't horse it in because it was so big. So I'm going through my phone, going camera, 4K, make sure all the settings are right. And I'm filming this horizontally and I'm in wide angle mode. And he is literally like acting like he's like, oh my God, like people do when they catch a catfish. Like, I got to get this thing in because he's wasting my time. And I started laughing. I said, what if it's like a 6 or 7 pound spot? And he goes, no, 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 no way. This striper. And then like literally 5 seconds later, this thing comes to the surface out away from the boat. And he goes, oh my God, 6 pound spot. Oh my God. And I'm like going, holy crap. I'm so glad I got my phone out. So I'm filming this thing. And I never saw it because I wasn't looking out in the water. I was just focusing on my composition. And then the fish comes to the surface and swims towards one of his power poles in the back. And I went, oh my God. It was like, I mean, it looked like it was unbelievable, dude. And then it came next to the boat. He reached down and bread loafed it and literally just tossed it in the boat. And it was like, it was like he won the freaking lottery, and he kind of did at that point. It was one of those lifetime experiences, Mercer, that you get these as a camera guy when you're in the boat with them, especially winning guys like when Lee Livesey caught that 8-3 at Lake Fork, when Taku caught, his big fish on Lake Ontario. All of them are memorable. And that was one of those moments when he got the fish in the live well. He turned around, and he's a sensitive guy, but I wouldn't say he's a touchy-feely emotional guy. And he literally threw his arms up and just ran to me and gave me this huge hug. And it was just a wonderful experience to have with Taku. And Taku, congratulations. That was freaking incredible.
It was a great, and so at that point, like literally, so you know what's going on at the event. Lisa Talmadge is Lisa Talmadge is like, okay, so we got to be prepared for a fish off. Like we have 3 anglers at that point. We have Robert G, we have Jay Shakurat, and we have Takumi, and literally they're being separated by an ounce. Like, and it's kind of bouncing back. Like at one point it was 3 ounces, an ounce.
They were tied too. Robert G and Taku were tied at like 53-2 or something like that. It was locked up.
And we're all being prepared for like, hey, and I kept saying it's not going to happen because it was way too convenient. I mean, for a fish off, a sudden death fish off would be awesome to have, especially in live the way it is now and everything. And I'm like, it's not going to happen this week because it's convenient. I mean, we're close to Birmingham. A lot of the staff is going to get home tonight regardless. I don't fly till 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. It'll happen when we're like somewhere where everyone's trying to get out of town.
Right.
It's just the way the universe works. But they were preparing, like, so what do we do if this, what do we do, but let's get the pieces in place so that if this happens on stage, we're like, boom, this is how we're doing it. And Lisa kind of said, I just hope someone catches a 5 or 6 pounder and breaks the tie. And sure enough, that happened. And special shout out to Lisa, one of her very rare faux pas. So she goes on stage to get, and listen, everything about my job, is against the weigh-in being exciting. I mean, we show everything on live, and then if you just didn't catch it on live, we put it all up in Bass Track. And then don't worry, when you think, oh well, the anglers don't know, that's the first thing they look at as soon as they got off the water. So everything is made to make weigh-ins less exciting, which is frustrating for me, as you could imagine. But I get it. It's evolution of the sport. And we never talk about what we're going to talk about when she comes on stage. Generally she thanks the hosts and whatever. And she's like, the first thing she says, oh, we were really worried about a tie, but doesn't look like that's going to happen. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? The tournament director's right beside me. I'm supposed to, but we laughed about it afterwards. But so we're preparing for a tie. So that moment,
we're getting texts. With the camera guys are getting texts from Wes, our camera trailer manager, basically our boss, asking who can stay if there's a tie, a sudden death fish off. I need 2 volunteer camera guys to be able to stick around, and this may take a while. We don't know. And so, to validate what you're saying, the whole staff, including the production trailer, is preparing to set up for a sudden death fish off.
Yeah. And the other reason it wouldn't happen is because they were catching lots. Like,
yeah,
it's going to happen somewhere where like it's a bite every 3 hours. It's not going to happen somewhere where they can go out and have a sudden death fish off and be done in 10 minutes.
Right.
But yeah, everyone's preparing for that. So that moment, as big as it seems on camera, and Takumi didn't even realize that at the time because he can't look at Bass Track, but it was as big as that. I mean, he literally threw the haymaker at the last part of the day and ended up what seemed like, this year we've had a lot of blowouts, and this tournament seemed like we're going to have the tightest finish. It turned into another blowout. But I think that clip, and it's very rarely you say this, it was better than without the camera. Dude, because it was pure. Said, like, you heard your excitement, you heard his excitement. I mean, if you were holding the camera, he probably wouldn't have just bear hugged you the way, you know what I mean? He knows
right,
it was so like organic. It was like, it was very cool. It was very, very cool. So
well, I'm glad it, it was serendipity and spontaneity at the same time. And it was just a cameraman reaction because that's what I do. And that's what my job is, to capture it. And, and I actually thought to myself, okay, this is a striper. I wasn't convinced it was a striper because it wasn't making a long run out to deep water. It was staying under the boat, and it wasn't. It was, there. I was like, if it's a striper, it's got to be like a 10-pounder. It's not a 30-pounder. There's no way. And so, but I'm also thinking, if it is a striper, then I might as well catch this on my camera because I can either send it to Taku or post it up on social media, and it's going to blow up anyway, just because it's Taku and what he was doing.
yeah.
And so, anyway, it turned out the way that it did, and I'm so glad, you know, that I felt like when he put that when he landed the fish and he loafed it over his shoulder into the boat, I felt like we were at the 50-yard line in a huge football stadium, and we just scored a freaking bomb of a touchdown, and the whole crowd erupted. That's how it felt when that happened, because I knew at that point, this is over.
Yeah.
Stick a fork in it. It's over.
And I never say that, but as soon as I saw it, I'm like, done, tournament over. And then I texted you right away, and I'm like, did he really just catch a 5-pounder? And you're like, nope, he caught a 6. So then we proceeded to blast that video out to the world. So just in case, I mean, before the weigh-in's even starting, you're seeing it on the big screen. I'm like, why are we even doing this charade?
I thought about, like, how would this have been? What would it have turned out like? You tell me, Dave. If I would have never sent that in, never, like, I had to put it on Bass Track, and that's when my phone started blowing up because people like you and Ronnie Moore and some other people were texting me going, did you accidentally hit Bass Track that he caught a 5 1/4? Because I put it in as a 5.4, but when Taku turned around, he asked me, he goes, how big? This was after we filmed it. He goes, how big you think? I said, Taku, that's got to be a 6-pounder. And he goes, I think 5-pound. I go, I'm telling you, man, I've never seen a 5+ pound spotted bass. I think the biggest one I've ever filmed was Brock Mosley caught one about 4 pounds on a jerkbait one time. And that was the biggest spot I've ever seen. I saw a picture of Tucker Smith, his 7 or 6.12 or 7 something, the lake record at Lake Hartwell a couple years ago. I saw a picture of that one, and I'm like, this has got to be. They're so long. They're kind of built like stripers a little bit, and they got the forked tail, and it was so long. When it came to the surface, it was like this. It wasn't like, it was like a snake. And so anyway, I thought it was at least 6 pounds.
It's an awesome looking creature. You could tell. I mean, and the biggest fish we had all week weighed in was a
4.9,
4.9 or 4.12. So I mean, it was a freaking beast, spotopotamus.
But that was the cherry on the whipped cream. When you called it a spotopotamus, I spit my freaking Red Bull out.
So I mean, there's certain things you say. I mean, I swear to you, I never even thought about spotopotamus, but as soon as I saw it come out, like even here, I didn't even announce it right. I'm like, it's a freaking spotopotamus. Like,
Justin Hamner we were sitting up there by Sago, the camera guys, in front of the front gate, or the fencing in front of the stage, and Hamner was right behind me, and when you said spotopotamus, we both just cracked up. That was good, dude. I mean, there's certain things that you coin that last forever, and that's one of those things that will last forever. That was brilliant, dude.
I feel proud to have brought spotopotamus to the world.
And that I don't know if it still had it in its gullet or in its throat on stage, But when he pulled that, when he got the hook out and showed me the fish and opened its mouth, it had a bluegill like that size bluegill down in its throat, and all you could see was its tail sticking out.
Wow.
I mean, it was just crazy, dude. And he goes, see, I learned something. Even the big spots are feeding on bluegills, and which is a point that has to be acknowledged when you learn something like that and you pay attention to it. You're like, why wouldn't a big bass like that eat a bluegill in an opportunistic moment? And why wouldn't you try to coax a big spot or a big largemouth or whatever with a bait that you would never think to fish with? Then you go back to what Steve Kennedy was doing with that glide bait, and it all makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, hey, if you can catch a blueback herring, you can catch a bluegill. You can catch
Right, exactly.
yeah, it's not a
Way
lot
easier.
easier.
Yeah, it's like it's dead.
Now, I think we covered Takumi, right? We're
I
good.
think so.
We're good. I'm going to talk to him a little bit probably too. So I think we're going to try get him on. I'm going to coax him into showing me some baits.
Hold on
We're
one
going to do a
second.
little short.
Walker.
Look,
Walker.
is Walker coming down?
I'm going to try to get him down here.
He's all waking up.
No,
So you missed the first 2 days of this event for another event, and dude, I'm a bit of a pursuist of pugilism, so I was all about it. I watched me and my family we didn't just watch it around the computer. We screen mirrored it to our main TV. Every time Walker was fighting, the whole family would come down.
Wow.
And it was honestly, it was great. Like, it was awesome to watch. I mean, I liked it better when he was in the blue corner because I could see more of you. when he was in the red corner, I only got to see you when you kind of leaned over in between rounds. But when he was in the blue corner, I got to see you pacing in the corner the whole time, and it was, I mean,
he actually likes to fight.
An incredible event.
Well, thank you. He likes to fight in his blue. It's either red or blue. The sanctioned events like the Junior Olympics or the Nationals, any of those national tournaments, it's either blue or white. And here's something interesting about that kind of that level of boxing. They actually do the same rules. They use the same rules in the Junior Olympics and the national events sanctioned by USA Boxing as they do in the Olympics. So everything is set up just like the Olympics, the timers, the announcers, the judges, the referees. Like, it is a really big moment. It's red, white, and blue. Everything's dressed up like you're in the Olympics. So these young kids, and the Junior Olympics stops, I believe, at 17 years of age, and it starts at 8 years old, and you have to weigh at least 50 pounds to get in, and then it goes on up to the super heavyweights. And they've got all these little divisions. Walker's division is the Pee Wee 65-pound division, and that's 9 and 10-year-olds. So everyone's categorized into these different divisions, and he had 17. It started out, I believe, 19 boxers that were signed up for the Junior Olympics in his division. 2 of them didn't make weight, so they got disqualified before the fights even started. And then all the brackets came out, just like March Madness. It's so freaking cool, and it's a great experience. I did that when I was 11 and 12 years old, and to be there as a dad, whew, don't get me choked up again. But to be there as a dad, to watch your son, perform at his best, and all the things that he's learned. And in 2 years, it hadn't even been 2 years yet, and he's trained so hard. I mean, this is a kid. He's upstairs right now, waiting on me to get off this podcast so he can go for a 3-mile run. And he's just so dedicated. I can't explain it. I mean, I'm explaining it emotionally right now, and It's not hard. It's easy, but it's really special. And our goal when we, 3 months ago, come here, Walker, come here. Our goal was to make sure that come around here. There's my boy.
There he is.
He's clapping for you because we're talking about your medaling and your performance in the Junior Olympics. Good job, dude.
He wants no part of this.
Yeah.
No part.
Hey, one day when he has his own children, he'll understand, and that's what my dad told me, many, many years ago when we were going through the same thing in opposite roles. And our goal was, dude, if there's 20 fighters in your division and you make a top 3, that's like making a top 3 at a Bassmaster Elite event. These are the best boxers in the country, in the United States, in his division, that all accumulated into one spot to see who was the best. And while he fought his first 2 fights brilliantly, and he fought his last fight brilliantly. He actually did. It was a very close fight, even though it was a unanimous decision. And the scoring is really complicated in boxing because there's 5 judges. They throw in all 3 rounds they throw the lowest score out, so that the scoring is non-biased for sure. Okay, and when they do that,
I didn't know that. I thought,
yeah. They throw the lowest score out, and then so you have the tightest scores possible in the final result. And while the judges saw it, and I did too, and we all knew it, Walker knew it, that he was not going to get that decision. The way he fought that fight, the 10-9 scorecards for each round were very close. It was like, let's just call it 10 to 9.5 instead of 10 to 9 because he was very competitive.
It's a 1-point must. Like they can't give halves. It's
right. It's 10-9 or 10-8 is what it is. And a 10-8 is a standing 8 count or a knockdown.
Yeah, absolute total domination, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, when he lost his semifinal round to this kid named Joshua David Epperson, he's actually fought him before. He fought him in his first 5 fights of his total career almost 2 years ago, and he dropped that kid in the 3rd round of a fight that he lost way back when. But that knockdown gave him the confidence to want to fight that kid again. And I call it a fight to want to box him again, because that's what it is. At this level, it's more like martial arts than it is, a professional boxing fight where they just basically fight to the death. This is an art and contact sport art. And so that kid Epperson went on to win the gold medal, which he was the favorite in that division to win, and he did. And he's won like 4 national titles, and he's only 10 years old.
That pesky JDE going to be problems. He's going to get his, don't worry.
Epperson, you wait. Walker's coming to get you, boy.
Do you think JDE has any idea that he's been talked about today on a fishing podcast?
Zero. He would be proud, though. He's a good kid. He's very confident, and he's very fast. His skill set revolves around his hand speed and his boxing IQ. He knows when to throw, and when he does, they come fast, dude. As you know, you watched it. And I want to thank everyone. There were so many people following Walker, watching his fights. Thank goodness it was live streamed, and there were so many people responding in comments, watching the fights, cheering Walker on. It helps, and he knew that. He could feel the support, and I just want you to know how much we both appreciate all the support and viewership that you guys output. Thank you.
So he's a bronze medalist, right?
He's a bronze medalist in the 2024 National Junior Olympic bronze medalist.
Wow. Way to go, Walker. Way to go. Yeah. It was awesome to watch.
And my Vols won the College World Series.
Oh, yeah. I forgot all about that. Yeah, that was a big deal. Yeah, so congrats on all comes. It's a big week. I mean,
Huge
your
week.
Vols won the national. Is it the College World Series? Is that what it's called?
It's the Men's College World Series National Championship.
All right, so they won that. Walker, bronze medalist. If it wasn't for that pesky JDE, I think he wins the gold. And then, of course, Takumi pulls it off. I mean, it's a freaking good week for you.
Unbelievable.
Well, not really for you. I mean, you're kind of connected to all that. But for you, you were really just got a $12 voucher. That's all you won.
That's it.
That expired.
Oh my God! Only you would pull that out of your hat.
You were this close to, so everything's coming out great for me. I got a $12 voucher that expired.
Yeah, the Tennessee got the trophy, Walker got the medal, Taku got the big fish and the big check,
and the chair.
I got and a spotopotamus
and the chair.
And the chair.
Taku chair.
I got a $12 expired voucher. But it was a great experience. It was. Yeah. It was worth $12.
It was awesome to watch Walker. And hey, here I got a question because I've seen all the pictures. I mean, I've been following it all, and I see all the pictures with this coach and everything. And you, why can't anyone smile in a boxing picture? Like it is like you gotta.
We've talked about that before. When you show up, we were standing in line. Weigh-ins start at 5 a.m. and you have to make your weight every morning that you advance, so that some kid doesn't go sit in a freaking hot alcohol bath all night and lose 12 pounds and then gain it again and have this 12-pound advantage over his opponent. So we're up at.
So he makes weight every day, not the beginning of the tournament. Like every day of competition, you have to remake weight. So it's not like
every morning.
So you're kind of depriving yourself the entire tournament, I would assume.
Yeah, you're watching your diet, you're running. I mean, Walker has a sauna suit. If he has to lose 2 or 3 ounces to make weight, because they have a test scale, we go in at 5 a.m., stand on this test scale, see where he stands. If he's fine, and they're match calibrated to the official weigh-in scale, so you know right where you stand. And if he's at 65 pounds on the money, then you can't gamble. He'll put his sauna suit on and go outside and run a lap around the parking lot, come back in, take it off, dry his sweat off, stand on the scale, and he weighs 64.8, right? That's how it works. Just like the water, those guys want to get their fish on the scale as soon as possible when they come out of the tanks because they're losing water the whole time, right? Same thing. And it's ounces. So, he's making weight every morning. And wait, why were we talking about his weight?
Oh, because I asked they had to make weight every single day. Like that's how I think we got into that, didn't we?
Yes. So he had to watch his diet every day. So he was I wouldn't say he was depriving himself, because as soon as weigh-in's over, we go straight to IHOP, and he has a big, breakfast of carbohydrates and proteins. I mean, we watch their diets. They drink protein shakes. These are, physical specimens at 10 years old. I mean, Walker's got an 8-pack just from and all of his teammates do, just from working out. And they're only 10 years old. So, they're trained athletes. And when you show up, I know why we were talking about this. When you show up to a big boxing event.
Oh, yeah. It started with the mean mugging.
Yeah. So everyone, his coach and I talked about this the other day. We're like, when there's egos flying around like there are at a boxing event, it's like this is the last place you want to get in a fight, because everyone in this gym knows how to fight. The coaches, the assistants, the moms.
You got 10-year-olds with 8-packs, dude. I mean, it's a bad
exactly, situation. And with quick hands, and they know where to hit you to make it count too. And so, yeah, and I think that's the the etiquette in boxing is it's not a sport for everyone. And you got to look tough when the cameras and flashes are going off. You got to look tough, because other people see your videos and your pictures, particularly your opponents. So you want to be as intimidating as possible. That's a whole nother conversation about how you prepare when you're around your opponent before the fight. there's an intimidation factor that goes on that starts at that age and goes all the way up to the Mike Tyson era, you know.
So you don't see, let me ask you this. I mean, and if you guys aren't into this story of Walker, I apologize, but I don't, because I'm into it. And so a lot of the humpers that tune into this has been a long route to get here, and he's just getting started. I mean, I can't wait to see. I mean, my goal really, the reason I'm so into this is my goal is one day he's going to make it big time, and I'm going to be his announcer. I want to walk out in front of him. Walker gets his own personal announcer. You're paying me, or I'm?
No, that's the translation is money.
Oh, no. I mean, I just want to hang with Walker, really. Yeah, that's why I've been your friend this whole time. You know how when you're at a soccer tournament, stuff like that, different things that I've been to with my kids. I mean, kids are pretty focused when they're competing, but they're boneheads outside of that, and you see them running around and doing
they're
stuff.
Kids again.
Or do you see that there, or like the whole
yeah.
time there, those kids are just?
Oh no. You're like, I mean, I'm like looking at my watch going, where the hell is Walker? You know, I'm like, he's 10 years old and they're still boys and they're over there, you know, they're over there like in a lot of boxing matches are in gymnasiums and high school gyms. So they're over and they've taken tape and made these balls and they're over there shooting baskets in the baskets. You know, they're just kids.
Yeah.
And you got to let them be kids. I mean, and I don't force anything. I've never pushed Walker. We coach hard and that's part of it. That's part of boxing and why these, you know, it's probably the hardest contact sports or the hardest trained, you know, competitive athletes. Not that they're better at what they do than anyone else, but the conditioning is insane.
But it's such a more primal thing too. Like, you know, to lose a basketball game hurts. I mean, if you've trained for it, but it's just you're getting in a ring with another human, and I get it that it's point based, and I get that they've got, but you're still getting in a ring with another human, and
in trying to hit you in the face and in the body. It takes courage and guts just to climb in the. I mean, I know kids that are 0-25. They've had 25 fights. They're 11 or 12 years old. They've never won a match in their entire lives, and they probably won't because they don't have the skills and the athletic talent to do that. And there's nothing I'm not shaming them in any way whatsoever. But the fact that they've had 25 fights and they still have the courage to get in the ring and go battle with another kid their age that's trying to come at them, they have to defend themselves and they have to offend themselves. And the courage and mindset that takes is amazing. So
kudos to all of them. Congratulations to Walker on a bronze medal. And really, I just figured out my goal in life is to be to the point where I want to just lose ounces. Really, just try to lose 3 ounces here. I feel like I can do that quick.
Just put on a sauna suit and go for a run.
Or
just go to Alabama and stand on stage.
I'm going to start weighing myself pre-weigh-in and post-weigh-in, a Bassmaster weigh-in, not an actual weigh-in, because, boy, I sweat a lot this week. But, man, you got to go for a 3-miler with your son. And I think this has been a pretty good Jake's take, dude. We laughed, we cried. I mean, it's been all of it.
We've been all over the board. And congratulations to Taku, and that fish will last forever. That's a Bassmaster history point of interest forever. That was great, Taku. Good job.
You got off topic though. Maybe it's good that you got off topic before we're done here. You were initially when you were talking about that video clip, you're like, what would have happened if I never sent that to anyone?
Oh, yeah. What do you think would have happened if I would have, because I thought
saved it for the podcast.
What if I don't, yeah. I would have been, I'd be working at another event now.
Guess what? You're a full-time boxing coach.
Yeah, exactly. What if I would have never sent the video? I mean, I thought about it just to create that element of surprise that you're always talking about and how big that would have been if no one would have known that he caught a 512. and what would have happened?
I think every department of bass would have hated your guts but me.
Exactly.
Social media.com, everybody would have just it wouldn't be a good move. I say you were on the boat to kind of capture it. You captured it. You were and I look forward to seeing where that footage goes. Obviously, it's been played a lot, and it's gonna. But I think that clip becomes one of those epic clips, and I still think that clip is freaking better because of how it was shot. Like without even knowing, like most people wouldn't even know that was your cell phone. But when they see and they hear the interaction and the realism in your voice and his voice and that's why we freaking fish. That moment right there is why you fish. Like whether it's that was with a lot of money on the line, a lot of prestige on the line, but
throw all that out the window.
Same feeling you have if you and Walker go fishing and he catches that. Like, I mean, that's why we fish. So
that is why when you catch a big one or a personal best, that's what happens. Oh, I want to throw this in there too because I've never really interacted much with Jordan Lee. But obviously, he's getting a lot of attention because of where he was sitting in the AOI standings before we got to Alabama, and he's kind of good. He came back to bass. His whole story. When we got to the dock after this big catch, Taku's they're pulling up to the mud line or the shoreline, and Jordan Lee and his wife come down, and Jordan's like, Taku, throw me your keys. I'll go get your truck. So Jordan Lee gets his keys, goes up to the parking lot, backs his trailer down, loads up, and the whole time from that point forward at the boatyard, before they pulled around to start weighing in with you at the stage, Jordan Lee is beside the boat. Like he and Taku, and they obviously have been interacting.
Very close friends. But they were friends before he came to the elites. Like I mean, Takumi's always said that Jordan is one of his friends. Like they fished together, they fished Smith together. I mean, and just say that, like that's Jordan's home lake.
Yeah,
he didn't have the tournament that he wanted. I mean, he did okay, but I mean, and that day was his freaking birthday.
Right, exactly. It was his freaking birthday. So there, the interaction between the two and the contrast, yet the similarities between the two are obvious when they're around each other, and you can tell that their friendship is very genuine. And I will tell you that Jordan Lee was extremely supportive, like a fan of what Taku had just done, and Brandon Polinick came up, jumped in Taku's boat in the boatyard, was taking photos. It was a really cool moment that will probably never get seen. Although you go back and look at Polinick's series of photos that he took, you can kind of see, but the interaction and the camaraderie that was going on between those three guys was way cool. And to the point to where I grabbed my camera, my bag, I jumped out of the boat, got on a golf cart, and left immediately on purpose because I felt like I was a fourth wheel or a third wheel or however you want to look at it, and they needed that time by themselves. It was cool.
It was very cool. Very, very cool. And the amount of pros that were around the stage. I mean, I said that with Cliff Prince's win, but same thing with Takumi. I mean, the amount of Matty Wong, just like the whole
Justin Hamner.
And Jordan kind of snuck up to weigh in, and he's like below the partition, just kind of where all the camera guys kind of sit on Sunday, and everybody knew he had this giant fish. So that, everybody's excited to see it. Everybody's excited to see this moment. But Jordan's kind of hiding out. And if it wasn't for me being, it was his birthday. And I just saw him there wearing Coleman. So I asked him to stand up and everything. But it's just, those are the moments that I think we're so freaking lucky to see. While people want to focus on bull crap. Like, I mean, I get it. This podcast would have a bunch more traffic if I just talked about, hey, you're not going to believe what so-and-so said about so-and-so backstage, or you're not going to believe what bothered this person. That ain't what I'm about, dude. What I'm about is those moments we're lucky enough to see. And dude, to see somebody like Jordan Lee, to see these guys just genuinely just so excited and watching the interaction with them when he's on stage. Like when I mean, me and Takumi go into a routine basically when he's in those moments. And everybody in the crowd, anglers included, like the moments that I'm seeing is not just the anglers laughing, but the anglers laughing and then like hitting each other and almost shaking their head like, oh my God, this guy is so good at this.
Yeah, there's people in the background in the crowd. I'm sitting up against that front fence, in front of the camera section, and I can hear this lady behind me going, "That he is so cute. I just love that guy so much," and that's what everybody's thinking at the time. And I wanted to bring this up. I know we've probably gone over my time
Way
limit here,
over.
and I got to get going too. But I
Ain't
want to
gonna
say
beat
this.
ED. You ain't gonna be ED. No, you ain't gonna beat JDE. Talking on
JD
a
Epperson.
JDE talking on a podcast. So give me your last. What were you saying?
My
Sorry.
last thought here is very positive, and I want a lot people to pay attention to this. Of all the people that I've ever been in the boat with, there are people that do it well, there are people that don't do it so well, and then there's Taku. But the way I froze up here, what happened?
You're good. I can hear you loud and clear.
Am I moving?
I think you'll be fine.
My screen froze up. The way Taku manages and takes care of his fish in the live well is something that everyone needs to pay attention to. He treats his live well like an aquarium, and he does everything. He goes way out of his way to make sure that those fish survive, and not only survive, that they're unharmed and as least stressed as possible. So, because he cares about the fish. And I just wanted to point that out because it's worth noting, because he puts so much time, effort, and heart into taking care of his fish. So, when they get back to the dock, I mean, when he lifts his live well lids open, his fish are trying to jump out immediately because they're so well taken care of.
He is a great man and great champion, and so are you. And I don't know whether it's because I've sniffed a little bit of Takumi's powder or we've talked long enough, but I'm finally awake. So thank you.
Well, thank you. My screen is frozen, so I have no idea what's going on, but
Be a freaking professional. Just move on. Oh, he's gone now. What happened there? That may have been the greatest or the worst ending to a podcast ever. But the one and only Jake Latendresse. It's the only way it was going to end. Let's be honest, folks. That was the only way this podcast was going to end, or this conversation. We have more conversations to come. But man, a great tournament, a great champion, a great week for Jake Latendresse. A lot of great highlights and a $12 voucher. Speaking of a great champion, let's join him right now. Your newest Elite Series champion, Takumi Ito. And just a week later, you return to the show, a two-time Bassmaster Elite Series champion. How about that?
Taku. Takumi Ito.
Takumi Ito, two-time Elite Series champion.
Thank you.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yes, very happy. Very happy.
The show was good luck for you, this podcast.
Yes. So, Justin Hamner won the Bassmaster Classic. Taku won the Bassmaster Elite Series. So, Mercer's podcast is a very good luck. I'm very happy. I'm very proud. Thank you.
What was it like when you called home afterwards, when you got to talk to your family?
Yeah. So my US family is very happy, and my Japanese my family staying in Japan, they're very happy too. So wow, Taku, very good job. So my kids so happy. So I bought a video game. So my son, and now every day my son playing a video game. So Taku no talk. He playing a video game. He focus.
He's focused on a video game.
Yeah. I talk him, but he no answer.
He's just playing.
Yeah. So Taku won a Bassmaster Elite Series. I present for him the video game, so he not talking me.
What game?
Like a battle game. I
Battle
want to buy a fishing game, but he want to buy like a Pokemon the video game like that.
Yeah. Very cool. Did you go out that night and celebrate or anything? Did you go out for dinner?
Yeah, yesterday I went. My friend Jonathan and Andrew and go to the Japanese steakhouse.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
And I eat fake sushi.
Fake sushi.
Yes, not so real sushi, but I love you. US sushi is all fake, but I love it.
Okay, you told me you'd show me the goods. You told me you'd show me some baits. You actually went and got the baits for me. What baits did you win this on?
Yeah, so I bring some Japanese secret bait.
Yes.
Yeah, so
secrets.
Yeah, all secret. I don't want to show the usually, but I won Smith Lake. So and I wanna, so now it's okay. I want to show. So yeah. So this one.
Okay.
Yeah, this one is a very good schooling fish. It's very good. Spotted bass, smallmouth. So this is a Norris bait, but I don't want to show that I use always tournament. I using a schooling fish, but this one is a very good schooling fish bait.
How do you fish it? Do you just cast it out?
Yeah.
Let it sink and then reel?
Yeah, just very easy. But so this prop, yeah, and so little bit vibration. Looks like little bit vibration. And the schooling fish in the many short bite. But this is a treble hook right here. And so easy to hook set. So I always use a schooling fish in a spotted bass. This Norris wrapping minnow. So
okay.
My very, very favorite.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
What else?
Yeah.
Show me more.
Oh, I'm scared. So next one is so everyone, so this bait.
Oh,
pancake. Yeah. So this is a Norris flip cogel. So but usually use an offset hook. But Japanese people, every people use a neko.
Okay, neko.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, look like that.
With the powder on it.
Yeah, powder is very important. So you have some like that.
Remember you gave it to me, remember?
Yeah, this powder is no good.
This one's no good?
This one is very good.
So you give me the no good one.
No, so this one is more good, more tasty, more smallmouth ramen.
So you gave me a decoy.
Yeah. Not decoy. It's good, but this one is perfect.
When do I get that one?
Yeah. So my wife bring this powder, so super good this powder this year, July.
Okay.
July, yeah. But hopefully can so hand carry, but sometimes so U.S. custom take it. So white powder is a very hard to
hard to bring. They don't want you to have it.
They don't want it. So many time my white powder nothing. So many time. Yeah, very hard. Just a shrimp powder, but take it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Is
yeah.
it? Are you ever going to sell it in America or no?
Hopefully, I wanna try that, but this season's fall season something. Yeah, I hope.
Takumi's magic powder. Is that what you'd call it? Takumi's magic powder?
Yeah, Takumi's winning powder. So bite powder USA, I think. Bite powder USA. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But this isn't no good. I've been so excited. I've been smelling it. And
No, this is
now,
a decoy.
but because it's got the gold cap, you knew it was no
Yeah,
good.
yeah. White cap is a real one. This is a fake sushi.
Takumi,
So
I thought we were friends.
yes, every year change now. Yeah, every year brand new. White cap is real.
Oh,
Oh no. Yeah.
I
So
don't know. I don't know if you could come on the podcast anymore.
oh no, come on, so please. Yeah. I
I'm gonna put you on the decoy podcast.
Decoy podcast. Sad. So this bluegill bait. So you remember the Lake Fork?
Yeah.
I caught a 39 pound.
Yeah.
So
Day
this
one.
one, the huge one.
Oh wow, big.
Yeah. I use this one is always use largemouth neko rig, huge one. Yeah.
Always Nico rig?
Yeah, I like neko rig a lot. Neko rig. Put on the weight right here.
How heavy a weight did you use on Smith?
Smith like a 316.
And how heavy on fork?
Fork is 332.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So more lightweight than the lake fork.
So you've been catching a lot of fish on it all year.
Yeah. Bunch big fish, but big fish only. So because the small one cannot eat a neko,
Yeah.
it's hard. So because the flat, so not easy to eating. Yeah.
Okay.
So I use a lot, and this one is a dice. Yeah, looks like so dice.
Yes.
But everyone have like a small dice.
Yes.
But dice is so US is only one dice, small dice. Everyone have that.
Yes.
But Japanese people have a brother. Older brother is this
big
one.
brother.
Yeah, and more older brother is this one.
Oh.
Yeah. So very important things. Dice bait is is better. I love it.
The bigger, the better.
Yeah, I like it.
Why?
So, yeah. So I think the move in the water a lot. Move. Yeah, grip the water a lot. I love the huge dice.
And how do you fish that? You shake?
Yeah, shake or twitching. Yeah.
Okay.
But I use a long shake a lot, like a crawdad. So
really?
Yeah, but
what hook?
I like Ryugi's neko hook and put on the weight and looks like short reader drop shot. I using but drop shot is okay, but short reader drop so put on the weight right here. It's more good, more so action is grip the water. So I like that. Yeah.
I like when Takumi wins. It makes me happy.
Oh yeah. So,
Even if you do give me the fake powder.
I will give you the fake dice. I can give you the I can
Which
give you
dice do you give me?
What is it?
Which dice will you give me?
What states?
The little one you're going to give me?
You want a little one?
I want the big one.
Okay, yes. So Japanese people, more big one have it. More big, look like that.
Really?
Yeah, everyone have more big. So this is a field side brand, cycle rubber. Field side brand. Field side brand is many kind of size dice.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So
So
that's how you won. Those are the
yeah,
baits.
yeah, and I have more. I bring more secret, but Dave Mercer podcast only is okay.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Exclusive.
Okay. Yes.
I don't want to
First
see
one.
you showing these on other podcasts.
Yeah. Not sure. Not sure.
No, tell them signed exclusive deal. What? What is that?
I don't know. I don't know, but yeah. This one. Take and using like that.
Come on. It looks
Yeah.
like a toy.
Yeah. Toy bait. Yeah. Yeah. Toy bait, but still good.
How are you fishing that?
I'm not sure that, but I so I use always like a football weight jig head.
Okay.
Yeah, and so falling here and sit in the bottom and the shake. Yeah,
Shake is
yeah,
very important.
yeah. Or short leader drop shot is good too. So
Okay.
yeah, like that. So it's a Imakatsu brand. That's crazy, but
It looks crazy. It looks
yeah.
like you get out of bed what your hair looks like when you first wake
Oh
up.
yeah, yeah, direct hair, yeah, yeah. But that's wow. So many Japanese bait is a many kinds of crazy bait, but very good because Japanese fish a bag, eat a bag a lot. So I don't know why that some so 80% American bass no eat, but 20% American bass eat this one.
20%.
Yeah, 20%. I try to every lake, but 80% no work, no eating, just looking.
So you're not showing me secrets. You say they're secrets only
Yeah,
for me, but really you don't use it that much. You're saying
yeah,
80% of the time it's no good.
but 20% very good. Look like that Smith Lake, 20%. So Lake Fork, 39 pounds. Smith Lake, I won the tournament. So 20%. If 20% this leg, I can win the tournament.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Oh boy, you got more.
yeah, I have some.
What is this?
I don't
Oh.
I don't know.
I feel like you just went in your boat and you took out all the crazy stuff to
Yeah,
show
yeah.
me.
Oh yeah. But this one is very good neko rig. Neko rig.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So too many hair. Yeah. So I think I don't know why, but I think many grip in the water, it's big fish rabbit.
Big fish.
Yeah, big always big fish. This one, big fish. This one, big fish. Pancake, big fish. Huge dice, big fish. Always many hair bait, big fish, rabbit.
Just water movement, you think?
I think so. I think so. I think so. But it's so hard to get in Japan too. This one is $100 something. Yeah,
100
yeah, hundred
for
dollar.
one.
Yeah, but you can use each one, but you take it. You can use two. $50 each one. $50, $50.
Oh my gosh, $50 a bait.
Yeah, it's a premier. It's a premier. So usually $10, $5, $5, but So
Very expensive.
expensive. Everyone wanna buy, but everyone cannot buy. So auction like that, eBay like that, $50, $50, $50.
Wow. It's $150 worth of lures. You better
Yes,
win some tournaments.
I have eat a steak. Yeah. So,
Hey, speaking of eating steak,
yeah.
I didn't get a chance to tell you.
Okay.
You did very good lifting the trophy. I mean,
Oh,
I had to run over one time because
yes.
it got a little wobbly, but you threw it up there. You
Yes.
actually threw it. It was in the air for a second.
Yes, I can do that. Yeah. But now it's so muscle pain. Now, so because so I think that 20 times.
Yeah.
20 times. Yeah. Power pull up, power pull down, trophies up. So many times.
Many
So, yeah, so now I cannot do that. So I cannot hold the trophy now. So my friend Jonathan is bring. So I'm not touching the trophy. No touching. Yeah.
No, but in a few days you'll be okay.
Yes, I hope so. More muscle. So I'm not touching. So Monday no touch. Sundays I 20 time hold. But
Yeah.
Monday no touching, today no touching, tomorrow no touch. I don't want to touch in a trophy now. No more.
No. Did you get the seat?
So I couldn't get seats.
What?
Yeah, because
Taku seat.
Yeah, taku seat and the taku orange box. You remember that?
Yeah.
So
what happened?
I autographing, graphing, and taking pictures, many fonts. So everything clean up.
They took your seat.
Yes, I'm sad. Oh, taku sheet and the taku orange box. Where it's about everything gone.
We'll have to talk to them for next tournament.
Yeah, I have to talk to Lisa and Chris.
Yes, we will talk.
I need orange box. So if I cannot get the orange box and the taku sheet, I don't want to fish in Bassmaster Elite.
You're gonna leave.
No, Bassmaster Elite. I need orange box.
Hey, you want to see a lure I have?
Yeah, so
you ready? I'll show you. No, I'll show you this lure. Would you throw this?
Yeah, the secret. No.
You don't throw this?
No.
I have this lure.
I don't know. Well, what is
it? Very good. It's very good. Nico rig.
I don't know.
No.
What is it? Kids toy?
No, it's for your muscles.
Oh, perfect.
It is. It's for to rub like on your feet and with sore muscles.
Oh,
but I think you could catch a bass on that. Couldn't you?
No, I'm not catching. I never threw that. What is it? Like a uni?
How can you laugh at this when you showed me look what you showed me? I mean, this isn't that different.
Yeah,
Come on.
Looks like.
Oh, very. Taku and Bassmaster only.
Yes, don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone. This is fake one. I've got a better one, but I'll give you this one.
Oh yeah.
I'll give you it as a 2-pack.
Oh yeah. Fake powder. Yeah.
How many other people did you give fake powder to?
Oh yeah. I think Brandon Polonic, Jordan Lee, there's some people.
They all have fake powder.
Yeah, fake powder. They have a fake powder.
Taku.
And just not, it is not fake powder because so last year it's good. Year it's good. Yeah, but this year is more tasty, more so.
Whoa, slow down.
Very happy powder.
Happy powder, too much.
Yes, this year small mouth, human, everything happy powder.
You have too much fun on stage, Taku.
Thank you very much. Taku is a Japanese comedian. So
Yes.
Japan is a comedian. So U.S. comedian too.
People were very shocked when I brought up about you not fishing tournaments in Japan before you came here.
Oh yeah.
They were very shocked. People didn't know that about
really?
you.
Oh really?
Yeah.
So I'm a media professional. Like it always fun fishing, and so like always camera crew with me, and all prefecture, like all states traveling and shooting and fishing. Yeah.
So what's next for you? ICAST. You're going to ICAST for the first time, right?
Yeah. Yes. First time I guess in July. Yeah.
Will you bring the trophy?
No, I'm not touching. Never. I cannot touch in the trophy. Yeah. So trophy too heavy for me. So just leave the garage and no touching.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you're going to ICAST as a champion. Like that's what's best about winning this tournament. The tournament before ICAST, everybody will be like, there's the champion.
Yes. It's happy, very happy for me.
Can me and you, we were supposed to, remember, we talked on Sunday morning, we said, if you win, we'll go drinking.
Yes.
We didn't. I went drinking with Corey Johnston instead.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So,
but I want to go drinking with you.
Oh yeah, let's go. So I'm a professional shotgun beer.
A shotgun of beer?
Yeah, professional shotgun beer.
Can we go drinking at ICAST?
Oh yeah, we go.
We'll have some fake sushi and drinking.
Fake sushi and drinking.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Tell me about catching that big giant spotopotamus. That giant spot at the end of the day. You didn't think it was a spot right away, did you?
Yeah.
You thought it was
I have never.
You thought it was a striper.
Yeah. I think the striper. For fish, I can see that, and most small one eating my bait, and but too much power. I think the spotted bass. So. But and Jake said, there's 6 pounder spotted bass. So Jake laughing. So, but really, so I saw the fish and the 6 pounder spotted bass. So Jake very, Jake very nervous. Yeah.
You weren't nervous.
Yeah, I'm nervous too. So we talked to. I think I think a spotted bass, not a bass. Too much power. Yeah.
Did you go? You on stage? You said you wanted to go back out on Monday and catch the other 3 big ones.
Yes,
did you go? Did you go back out or no?
Yes, I want to go, but my Tandra's roof rubber. So my Tandra's roof eating bird eating rubber.
Buzzards ate the roof.
Yeah. So I have to go to fix the roof. So I go back to. Yeah.
The buzzards attacked your truck when you were out fishing.
Yeah. So I touching. So I touching this powder and the hand, and I touched the roof couple days ago. So I think the buzzard feeding this powder.
The buzzards want the powder.
Yeah, and so I think the buzzard feeling happy and dancing and eating the roof. Very sad. Taku very sad. So my Tandra's roof is so dancing buzzard eating all.
Yes. Yeah. Well, the buzzards won't eat this powder.
No, gold is a fake.
I was so happy to have you back on, but I'm not happy anymore. You have made me sad.
Taku always so fake man, so always liar. Taku liar.
Hey, when I saw you when I was leaving, I went to say goodbye. You were in the boat with Sego.
Yeah.
And Kyoya.
Yes.
You guys are buddies now.
Yes, we are friends now. So we are friends now. So
how did this happen? How are you so good friends?
Yeah, I think I'm not good friend because I don't know where he live now. I don't know where stay now. So everyone don't know. Koya is a secret boy. Koya don't wanna know everyone. So Koya is stay in Alabama. Koya is now stay Michigan. So Koya don't know want to know that. So we don't know. We don't know Koya is live where. But we talk to start. We talk start. Nah. So Smith Lake. Yeah, we start talking. Yeah.
Did you give Koya the powder?
Koya. I think the Koya don't have it. Koya don't. I think have it. Koya buy one in Japan. I think.
Can you buy it in Japan?
I don't give him. I don't present him.
No.
He don't. But I think he have. He buy it in Japan. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're friends now.
Yeah, I think a little bit friends. Taku, so I think friends, but Koya think no friends. Taku Taku is only the funny guy. I think I don't know, but we don't know where he live in. So all secret boy.
A secret boy.
Yeah.
You're kind of a secret boy too.
Yeah. Taku have many Japanese secret boy.
I know.
Yeah.
You won't show me those ones.
So this one is only 3%. 3% Japanese base. 97% more I have it.
But why? And why would you only throw me three? How do I see the 97% more?
So smallmouth more 30%. It's smallmouth bait.
Okay.
So many. So Japanese bait. It's a lot of many kind of form. So that's a crazy bait. So Japan is not so many bass, but many bait, many Japanese bait. Yeah. So always.
Yes.
So America, US is a many bass, but not so many kind of bait. Crankbait, vibration, jighead minnow, spinnerbait, chatterbait. It's all orthodox like that. So simple. But Japan, not so many bass, but many kind of bait. Dice, like like a bag and a dragonfly, mouse, and,
killer bees.
Yeah, killer bees. Many kind of killer bee bait.
Come on, really?
Yeah, yes, I have. So, but killer bee bait is a smallmouth secret, so I cannot show that. So you know that, but killer bee bait is a very secret bait.
I'm gonna search in your boat next time I see it.
Yeah, I have a earthworm bait, killer bee bait, and wasp bait, many honeybee bait.
Jake told me you weren't talking about killer bees. He said you were talking about hornets. Is it killer bees or hornets?
Yeah, killer bee.
Hornets, different than hornets.
So killer bee is the most big one, right?
Yes.
Killing the people.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I love killer bees hot nest. And so sometimes I found it. I'm still inside the vehicle, and I shoot on a water gun and close the window. So, many times I have every day, every time my vehicle put on water gun.
Yes,
automatic water gun. So
automatic.
Yeah, automatic, very expensive. So if I found a killer bee nest, I shoot it. Yes.
How expensive is this gun?
I think $200 something
for a water gun.
Yes, but water gun very fast and very strong. Some killer bee is so hit in the water and falling. Yeah, very strong.
The things I learn about you. You're an amazing man, Takumi.
Yeah. So I remember Santee Cooper Lakes. Many bees nest, like a wasp nest.
Yes.
Yeah, the cypress tree.
Yes.
So I always, if I found it, so I cast on a jig and rolling, so like a tree, very close to the tree, and the braid line,
Yes.
and I escape, line release, and escape, and killer bees fall in the water.
You hate killer bees.
So I like a nest, but I like a destroyer. So I like destroyer. So hornet nest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What other things do you like to destroy? Just bees, or is there other things you like to destroy?
So I love honeybee. It's no destroy. I like that honeybee.
You're very
Always,
nice.
yeah, very good pass, good bag. I love it. But wasp and killer bee is and the hornet is sometimes so very dangerous. I
Yes.
always find the nest and the cast and the rolling and I escape and the 100 feet. Professional.
While you're in a tournament during pre-fish.
Pre-fish every day. Three nest. Yeah, every day. Yeah. So, but official practice not so much. Official practice not so much.
Oh, okay. So that's just pre-practice.
Yeah.
When you go early.
Yes, I pre-practice every lake, 1 week, and if find a hornet nest, I try to cast and the rolling and the escape.
So you pre-practice every lake on the schedule for 1 week?
Yes. So
wow,
because every year they change a lot, I have to run. So
yeah,
I pre-practice a lot. Lake Wheeler, Smith Lake, everywhere.
Okay. Well, I know you're busy. I don't want to keep you too long, but I thank you and I congratulate you.
Thank you very much.
When do you want to come on the podcast again?
Oh yes, I want to go every week.
Every week.
Yes, every week. Yeah, I have many more Japanese secrets. So next time, the 2 more percent, I can show you the Japanese secret, and the 5% total 5%.
That's all.
Yeah, today the 3%, and next time 2%.
So, do you have your box with how much powder you put on them? Do you have that with you? No. Yeah. Remember, I saw your box in your boat that showed how much powder you put on the baits. Do you have that or no?
Like that.
Yes. Look how much powder. So much powder on them. I was not putting enough powder on.
Yeah. Every box I put on almost half powder and like shaking and using.
Shake and bake.
Yeah, shaking and microwave and using. No microwave. No.
You never know, maybe.
Yeah, but this one. So I can talk to the secret. I put on like a like a kitchen into the water.
Okay, and in the sink.
Yeah, and the heating. Water is heat.
And
very hot.
Boiling.
Yeah. Many fog, like
yes.
Yeah, and put on the old bait.
So it makes it softer.
Yeah, so very soft.
Yes.
Neko rig is very important. Very soft.
Okay.
And, action a lot. Yeah. Taku is a cooking papa.
Cooking papa?
Yes, cooking papa. All soft bait cooking.
Always cooking different baits.
Yes. Look like that. Sometimes put on water and heating and using.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Next time you're cooking baits, can you call me? We'll cook together.
Okay. Yes. Let's cook together.
Okay,
Yeah.
maybe next show we'll get everything laid out and shaking and baking and.
Yes, of course, yes.
Takumi, I look forward to seeing you at iCast.
All right, yes, me too. Thank you very much.
Champion.
Thank you, champion. Taku champion.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
I love Takumi Ito. Sure, he lied to me about the powder and some of those baits were crazy, but I still love me some Takumi Ito. The world needs more like him. From a very fun conversation, we move over to a tough conversation. The great Bob Cobb once coined a line, the thrill of victory and the agony of angling. And that perfectly explains this week's episode. We just dealt with the thrill of victory, and now it's time to deal with the agony of angling. Trey McKinney, 19-year-old Trey McKinney, came into the Smith Lake event with a 59-point lead in Progressive Bassmaster Angler of the Year. He was leading everything. That, Dakota Lithium Rookie of the Year, leading all of that. And he caught him. Decent day one, a great day two, the biggest bag of the tournament, actually, and would have been in second place in the tournament. But he showed up 7 minutes late for check-in. It is 1 pound for every minute you are late. So a 7-pound penalty right away. Then it was revealed that he got a phone call on the water that alerted him that he was late. So he lost all of his weight. He's now leaving Smith Lake in third place for Angler of the Year, some 26 points back of our leader, Justin Hamner. A tough pill to swallow, no matter who you are, especially if you're 19 years old. But one thing I got to say before we play this conversation is I'm pretty impressed that Trey showed up for this conversation. Because if you look in other sports, when something like that happens, quite often the competitor disappears. You don't see them till the next event. For Trey to show up the next morning, not 24 hours later, the next morning, to kind of confront this and to be as open and honest as he was about what he's been feeling throughout the entire season, what he felt on day two, what was different about things, and how it all happened. I got to give him kudos for that. And no matter where you fall on all of the stuff that has kind of swirled around Trey McKinney here in his rookie season, you got to give him credit for that. I don't want to push a narrative. I want you guys to decide. But this is a very revealing, very open Trey McKinney, and I thank him for that. So less than 24 hours after, what would you categorize yesterday, Trey?
I guess a disaster, a cluster. It was just it was one of them days that I just didn't have my hand on it. Just kind of went. I started off getting very strung out because I had like 3 fish at like 11. And on this place, I caught 20 keepers yesterday. I was like, shoot, I'm not going to catch a limit. And basically what happened yesterday is when I saw Justin Hamner caught him, nothing like that. You never try to beat anybody. But at that point in time, I was like, I just lost a lot of points. Like right there, I was like, oh no, I didn't do my job. I got to do better tomorrow. And that's like kind of what I was kind of out for. I was kind of just out for it yesterday. Like I was ready for vengeance, blood, whatever you want to call it. I was going fishing. And when I tell you I was fishing hard, I was pulling up the trolling motor. There was a boat following me. I was moving so fast. By the time I would leave, get to the next spot, and by the time they would shut down, I'd already be moving to the next spot. And by the time halfway through the day, I'd caught a 4, a 3, and a 2. And I was like, okay, I've got 2 fish that are like mythics around here. And I was like, okay, so now I just got to get a couple more bites. And about midday is when I got spun out again because I lost a few. And then I caught another one that weighed 4.9, that spot, or 4.8, and then I was like, it's over, done right here. I got 4 fish, I need 1 more, and I caught a 113, and it was kind of looking funny. I was like, I don't know if I should go to weigh-in first and weigh in early so I don't die, or then I got greedy, and I was like, I can do better than a 113. Like I feel like I can, and I ran. Actually, I was sitting right back here, and I just was so confident. I knew exactly what time it was. I knew it was on the dot. I had my phone laying on the front deck, and I knew exactly what time it was. I just thought for some weird reason, the flight that I had the day before is when I was supposed to come in. And, you know, that was quite a bit off. Like, I wouldn't have had no weight left. And when I had a family member reach out to me, like, hey, where are you? You okay? Whatever else like that. And then when I thought about it, that's when it clicked. And that's when I was like, oh my gosh. Like, you know, I ripped the trolling motor up, threw all the rods in the bottom boat, didn't strap nothing down, and ran here. And because I was right back here on the corner, by the time I got in, I had a 7-minute late penalty. So that was the reason of the DQ, because I really wouldn't have realized. I wasn't coming in. I was sitting on my back seat, flipping a dock because I was so confident that my flight was that other time. You know, so it's a hard one to swallow. People say, you know, I've looked at some of the comments and they're kind of, you know, they're pretty vicious. I was like, you know, like I was sitting there, and I don't read comments. I don't do nothing like that, you know, because I just know that makes me even more fed up with it, you know. But, you know, last night, if anybody thinks it's an easy pill to swallow, trust me, when you see something that you've worked for so long just get pushed away by 7 minutes of your whole life, you know, that's what hurts. You know, it's something we've worked so hard, because I haven't been home since January just to be in the, like, you know, that's the whole reason, is to be in the position I was. And to see that I actually done my job, caught almost 17 pounds, whatever, 16.5 pounds on this lake, probably would have had, you know, and been in second place right now.
Biggest bag of the tournament?
Yeah, biggest bag of the tournament. You know, just stuff like that. Like, I done my job, but I let 7 minutes of irresponsibleness, you know, take it. And, you know, it hurts. You know, that's the part that everybody's like, oh, yeah, you should watch, whatever else like that. And it was just my brain, for whatever reason, I literally was so, let's talk about this. You know how Fork was just crazy, all this other stuff. But I was never as hyped as I was yesterday.
Really?
Yep. Of every day of Fork, even though I caught 33 pounds, whatever else, that was, I don't know, it was just fishing. You know, like it come, like, I don't know, I had such a feeling for it. It was just go here and you catch one, and you catch one, and you catch one. But here, I didn't know where I was going to catch one. So I just kind of figured it out throughout the day. You know, that's the part that was like, after I caught one 4-pounder, I was like, out of the world hyped, you know? Then I caught another 3-pounder. I'm like, I might come all the way back. I might be in the top 10 after today, because I had 2 good ones and 1 2-pounder. I'm like, that's not a bad one. And when I figured out just the little nuances to get the bites, and I culled up from 10 pounds at whatever time it was. I think it was like 11, almost 12 in the afternoon. And I culled up from them once I figured it out to 16.5 pounds. Like, I felt like, you know, I figured it out. It was accomplishing. It was something that on this big a day, I caught my biggest spot. You know, it was a really good day, and I was just, I was confused. That's what it was. I mean, I don't know, I lost it because I was so out for just to fish. You know, like I told, like, there was no surround noise, none, zero. Like, you could have just speak to me and I probably wouldn't even looked at you yesterday. Like, you know, that was one of them days where I was out for it. I was out to get whatever I was out to get, you know, I don't know. But yesterday was probably one of the days that when I come back in, I was just exhausted. Just couldn't take no more. You know, I haven't cried in however long, but, you know, yesterday was the day. But it was a day of a lot of emotion. You know, it was hard on whoever, the person that called, because, you know, they didn't realize what they had done. Yeah. And, you know, that was hard to see, and I was like, well, it's not your fault, you know, because I was literally coming in at the flight the next day, like, you know, the tournament would have probably been gone by the time I was coming in.
Yeah, whether they called or not, your weight was going to be gone.
Yeah, I was gone. That's why I told them. I was like, you can't feel bad about this. There's nothing you done, whether you done it or what. There's nothing. I would have had zero either way. You know, because I was literally coming in at the whatever time, and that was way past 16 minutes, you know. So that was the part that I was like, you just don't blame. And then they're like, oh, I should have reminded you. I was like, none of your job is wrong. My job is literally to go out, be at the ramp at 6, go out and come in at 2. You know, I mean, and you look at it like that, like that's why we're here. And I just messed up. I had me a hiccup in the road. And, you know, I see a lot of comments or whatever talking about whatever God and all this other stuff. It's not that I was blaming him for anything. You know, it's more or less, you know, the positivity of it. Some way you have to look is, okay, maybe today I'd have gotten a boating accident, something like that. Maybe, you know, you got to look at some side of the plan of what he's got in store. You know, maybe, you know, could have had something detrimental, could have gotten in a fight with somebody, could have, you know, there's all sorts of stuff that could have happened and could have been even more career changing, something like that. So even though it's not the way I could think of possibly look at it, because trust me, I don't want to look at it that way. You know, like if anybody had suicide watch, I was there last night. So it was great, but you know, that's how we just got to look about it. Is, you know, the Lord, he works in mysterious ways. We don't know why. You know, it's not only this is what I'm trying to say to people is when anybody else has tough times. You know, like never somebody would think fishing would be your life, but it's mine. You know, like that's kind of the part where it's like hard, because that's all. You know, I didn't go to high school. I mean, I went to high school, but I was homeschooled so I could fish. I didn't go to college so I could fish. I didn't have another plan so I could fish. You know, like I threw it all into one bucket, you know, and it's not over. It's not, you can't look at it like that, but it does hurt, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you came into this event with, not to rub the numbers in, but I'm sure you know them, came into this event with a 59-point lead. Mm-hmm. The way you would have been in second in the tournament and, I mean, leave here with a substantial lead heading north. Now you're going to be 26 to 30 some points behind.
Yep.
How much of this, like if you look at your season, you have had an incredible season, but it has had so many of these. This is the biggest one, but it's had so many of these moments.
Yeah.
How much of that has to do with being a 19-year-old? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not an excuse, and I know you're not looking for an excuse, but your mistakes and things that have hurt you this year are things that, you know, you're so focused on fishing, you're not paying attention to the other stuff almost.
Yep. It is, because, I mean, it's not, so it's the part of being irresponsible, yes, like that, you know, you can't use that excuse forever. You know, I'm 19, and I don't want to use that excuse. That's one of the excuses that, you know, it does happen. You know, immaturity of something, being irresponsible, something like that. But it's more or less it's the little things. You know, like I'm like, you know, it don't matter. You know, it's a little thing.
Yeah. Who
cares, right? You know, like knowing your way in. You know that, right? Little thing. You know, it really has. It's been like me not paying the full attention. You know, me not thinking stuff is so serious is what really, because I'm like, no, I'm just going to go out and do my job. I'm going to fish. I'm going to fish. I'm going to fish. I'm going to fish. And I know how to, you know, do it the right way, but everyone, like little stuff, like, you know, somebody calling you and I was like, right off the top of my head, it said the name or whatever. I'm like, oh, if they're calling me, something must be wrong, you know? And it was wrong, you know, something was really wrong, but on that other point that it alerted me. But either way, it's been like, and I've watched the meetings and everything else like that, but it was just like, the ignorance of me, it was just, you know, it's just a little thing, you know, it's all right. I'm just going out there to do my job, I'm going out there to fish, and it'll be all right. That was what everybody's like back home would say, that was my saying, like, it'll be all right. Like, you know, it'll be all right. Because I would always somehow, you know, not anything, it'd be fine. Like somehow it would be all right. And you know, it's just like after a little bit, like Rick always told me, he's like, one day it's gonna bite you in the butt. And I was like, it'll be all right. You know, it'll be fine. And you know, just the ignorance of me of not paying every detail it's hurt me a lot this year. And yes, it is my rookie year. But I've been fishing my whole life. You know, I know the basics of the rules, but it was just the little things that I wasn't aware of. Yeah, I haven't been answering many phone calls, trust me. If I answer a call, you're important. And it's not that part of it. It's just, you know, I just need some me time. You know, I'm going to go and I'm going to drive. Literally, after we get done with this, I'm going to go pack my clothes and I'm headed to Champlain. And I'm going to go up there and I got me a house and I'm staying up there and I'm going to just fish. You know, not so much, I'm going to pre-fish, whatever else like that, but I'm going to go fish. You know, I'm going to go get me a snack. I'm just going to go fishing. And so that I think it'll be fun. I'm excited for it. You know, just be up there, not know anybody. You know, just go up there and just go fishing.
To say you were more excited yesterday than you had been at Fork, where you weighed in the 4th biggest winning weight ever, you know, youngest angler, is pretty amazing. Do you think that's you starting to feel the pressure of the moment? Like we're get out of Alabama with a good one.
Yeah, exactly. And
things get a lot easier.
And a lot of people, like, it wasn't that I was just so stressed yesterday, because I was like, I had 12 and whatever, I was placed 30. And don't get me wrong, that's good. You can't ever be greedy, whatever else like that, because, you know, if it's meant to be, it's going to be meant to be. But I was truly let down. Like, I don't know why. Like, this week has just been a roller coaster. You know, I was worried, sick. I had picked the part of the lake, and I didn't go look anywhere else. I picked this part of the lake, and I didn't look anywhere else. I just told myself I'm staying. I was so nervous. I was like, what if something happens? I don't make it back. Like, I'm going to pick this area of the lake, and I'm staying close. And I'm finding everything. Like, I'm talking, I've idled down every bank for 4 miles, you know, down this way, everywhere. Got everything, like, pretty well marked, brush, docks, anything on the bank. And, you know, I just felt like I had it right here. Like, I should have done better than that, you know. And it just, I don't know why I was let down yesterday, but I was. And then all of a sudden, not yesterday, the day before, but when I come in the second day, I was, like, so determined to do better. Like, I was like, I was like thinking about like going up north, and I've lost points, and I'm like, okay, I can't lose points. And I was just determined yesterday. Like, I was just on my trail, and I didn't have a marshal, so I wasn't waiting on nobody. Like, when I wanted to go, I was going. You know, I was bam. I mean, I threw that, and most of the time I wouldn't even have any rods on the front deck. I just throw them in the bottom of the boat, then roll. Then pull the trolling up, throw one in the bottom of the boat, roll. Throw one in the bottom, you know, I was just, and I was really in a groove for a little bit yesterday, and it was just, you know, and that's the bad thing, like, as you guys can see, we're trying to get back hydrated. You know, like, there's certain stuff that I got to be smarter on. Sleep. Sleep's a really actually important one. Staying hydrated. Rick always said, he's like, you need to get some sleep. You need to sit down for 5 seconds, drink something, eat something, so it don't kill you.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, I'm like, we're fishing this tournament. Like, nobody cares. Like, this is literally, I gotta go out and catch my fish. Nobody cares if I eat or sleep, you know. And that's how I've always thought about it, you know. If I don't drink anything usually during the day. If I do, it's because I've really caught them or something. But if I'm in that slack zone, I don't. It's two. Every second counts, you know, type of thing. But throughout the day, that begins to affect you. Like, you know, I forget what tournament it was. It was one of our tournaments. Wheeler, when it was so hot. Every time, if I would stand up quick, my vision would like go black. And I would just have to like sit down a second, realize what I'm doing, and I'm like, okay, and then I'd hurry up and drink something, then I'd have to get back up. And if I'd stay standing for a while, it would go back, everything would be formed. But if I would like do like a real quick movement up and down or something, or like do something really exerting, I would get like lightheaded and stuff like that. And that's kind of stuff that if you let yourself go too far, it affects how you fish, it affects your tournament, by going faster, by the end of the day, I'm going slower.
Yeah.
It's kind of the thing with that. So it's just little things, you know, to make, like, I have a new thing right now. I'm trying all these, like, new. It's, like, new for focus. It's new for hydration, stuff like that. So we're just, you know, I'm just going to change some stuff and, you know, maybe pay attention to a lot of little things, change how I, you know, fish. Not so much fish, it's just how I treat myself throughout the day. You know, focus a little bit more, try to drink more, just kind of take a minute and slow down a second. Yeah, type of thing, you know. But we'll get it worked out.
You mentioned earlier, reading some comments, and everybody knows that's a bad hole to go down. But you've hostaged a lot through your life. Like, when you say, hey, I got homeschooled so I could fish professionally.
Yep. And
does it frustrate you that somehow that is, it kind of feels like you can go to any football camp, any tryout for any sport, and people will be like, well, that guy's good, but he's only good because he got sent to all the camps and he got sent to all the,
yep.
And you kind of are that in fishing. I mean, you've been learning from pros, you've been learning, people, any other stage, but now you're here at the biggest stage where everywhere else that was celebrated all the way up. This kid, and then this kid gets here, and somehow it's got spun.
Yeah, it has, and it's like, it just kind of hurts, you know, like, you know, everybody realized like, oh, I just whatever started fishing and here I am, you know. But I mean, ever since I can remember, you know, we took so many steps. Like, it's been kind of crazy. Like, literally we started and Rick took me to all, like, you know, the junior events and everything. And I was like, you know, I was like literally this tall, like whatever. I hold a rod, I'd basically take off running to set the hook. I couldn't set the hook that hard. And we went through that. Then we went to high school for a little bit, and I turned 16, and I'm like, what can I do? Like, we sat down, I talked to Rick, it's like, what can we do to take this farther? Like, we're here, but we're not gaining a whole lot, right? We're fishing high school, and I'm like, okay. I was like, now what? You know, we're sitting here, and we're just kind of thinking, everybody's like, oh, you should try this, you should try this. And Rick's like, just start in the BFLs, see what happens. You know, just go to BFLs. Because the main thing is how you learn to make your decision by yourself. That's the biggest thing I had to learn is when I didn't have Rick, okay, I'm like, where do I go? And I look back, Rick's not there. Who's there? Nobody, you know, like that's you. That was the biggest learning curve for me, is being able to make your own decisions, you know, not get caught up of running it past somebody. You know, having that confidence in myself when I say, hey, I want to go fish over here, I'm going to go fish over there. You know, like having that confidence in yourself is really what took me to a lot bigger of a level of fishing, because after that we fished that and we, you know, ended up winning Angler of the Year. And then I was like, okay, now I'm gonna fish it one more year, and we won Angler of the Year again the next year. And I was like, you know, now what do we do? We had another sit down and we're like, okay, and people were mentioning the opens. I was like, dude, that's all across the world. Like, I don't know, I don't know, I'm ready for that. You know, like that's a big step. You know, I was whatever, I think 18, whatever it was. And the biggest thing with me is I didn't know like a lot about life. I'm talking like changing tires, you know, changing batteries, anything else like that. I could fish, you know, decent, whatever else, but I didn't know a whole lot about if anything happened. You know, I'm stranded if anything happened. If I don't have somebody to call, well, you know, duct tape and zip ties, if that don't fix it, I'm pretty well stranded out on the water. So that was kind of the thing, is a lot of Rick taught me, is like we had a little incidents, little hiccups, and he would fix it, and I would like kind of watch him, you know, see what happens, and he would always get on it. If I was looking the other way, he's like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, just watch this, so next time it happens, you know what to do. And I'm like, okay. And you know, it's kind of crazy how many times that scenario keeps coming up, and now I know how to fix it. You know, just stuff like that throughout my whole career. And then we went through the opens, and now we're here, and it's just took so many steps, and I've literally learned so much, like this year and the end of last year. It's been crazy. I love it. You know, that's why I've been gone on the road. I've just been literally wanting to just learn fishing. Like, you never learn it all. I don't care who you are. There's so much out there. I'll be looking online or something. I'll see a new bait. I'm like, ooh, you know, I gotta get that, and order it off some like sketchy website that you know you're gonna get like hacked off of just to have a new bait. You know, like that's kind of the thing, is like I want to learn so bad. You know, like that's the goal. Like smallmouth fishing, I'm not very confident at all. Last year I went to the Open, and I finished 88th, and I didn't have a limit at 12 o'clock at St. Lawrence. You know, people were talking about like you should catch like 20 bags over 20 pounds, like whatever. And I was really hurting like that. And then everybody's talking about how good it was, and I was like, man, I just didn't figure it out. Like I just didn't know anything about it. So now, you know, negative me, I'm like, oh, here we go, I got no shot. You know, like going up there to St. Lawrence up north, I was like, I don't know anything about it. That's one place I haven't really experienced. And I was just like, you know, it's kind of Debbie Downer last night. I was like, well, I'm done, you know, it is what it is. You know, it's kind of, you know, I had my chance and I kind of threw it away. But then, you know, at the same point, you got to be positive. You know, you never know what could happen. I'm going to go up there, and I guess it's going to be a month. I'm going to stay literally from the off limits and fish every other kind of smallmouth fishery up there till the tournaments. So, you know, we just got to stay positive about it, see what happens.
Is what I'm seeing right now in front of me, is this, how much of this is for camera and how much, like inside, are you screaming still? Are you able to compartmentalize it? Like I wouldn't be able to at my age, so I can't imagine
Yeah, no, it is. Like, I mean, like when I woke up this morning, it just feels like, you know, I had no feeling. Like I'm just numb. You know, it's kind of the, you know, it's everything's just. I would have literally been out there today, second place with a camera, going out there, knowing exactly what I was going to do. Probably having a chance to maybe win this thing, you know, like because I was on, I wasn't getting many bites, but I had some big ones, you know, like that's like a 4.3, a 4.9, and another 3 something, and then I was like, whoa, you know, like after I caught the 4.9, I was like, nah, I'm done, I'm gonna go practice, you know, like that's. And it just kind of hurts, you know, that I literally come back up. I don't even care now. I come back up to my dock or whatever else. And I was like, I'm just going to hit my other one more time. And I was like, I probably got what I need anyway. And I skipped up underneath there and 4.9. I'm like, yeah, we're done. You know, like I had like 4 or 5 more docks in the rotation that I'd probably catch one off everyone. And I was like, nah, I'm done. And then I come all the way back up here. I ran all the way up the creek, like as far as you could go. Shut down, first lay down I come to. 2.5 pounder. I'm like, today's my day. Like, I don't know, dodgeable. That's what you feel. Like, you know, like you don't have those days too many often, but just that's the biggest thing about me. When I just run down the lake and just have a gut feeling and it works out, that's what it's about. Like that's why I'm fishing so much, is to just have that feeling. Like just kind of show up. Be like, I don't know if you sense it in the air or what you do, but I'll just be running down the lake and it'll just kind of be like, why does that look good? Let's go fish it. You know, like why does that ring a bell or something in my brain that I need to fish that? And that's the kind of the special part of it. Really, is kind of that was what I was looking for when I ran up there. And literally, I just straight did. I first laid down, I put my jig to. I caught a 2.5 pounder. Then I ran back and just kept hitting little spots. And I called 3 times back there. That's probably gave me another 1.5 pounds on my smallest side. You know, and it was just. I just screwed up so bad, you know, I don't know how. Every night I go back and look, it was like, literally, if I would have just had one clue, it shouldn't even have been a clue, you know, like, I don't know if it was just, I was such in a mental roller coaster yesterday that I just think I just lost it, you know, I defaulted back to whatever, and I know it's whatever now, it's, you know, 6 to 2, 8 hours, you know, you're in the first flight, it's 8 hours. I was gone. I literally had no feeling. I was out there just to catch as many as I could, and it overwhelmed me, really. I was just out there, and it's not that I needed to watch. I had my phone on my front deck. I was literally looking at it every 5 seconds because, trust me, I was not going to be late with 16.5 pounds. I knew I'd be pretty close to leading this thing. And I knew everything. Had the time worked out. I was watching seconds go by, waiting. And it was just, I thought my weigh-in was at a different time. I forget what bass guys were back there filming or whatever, and I was just fishing next to them. And they were filming or whatever else, and I was fishing. I was like, yeah, I'm just waiting on weigh-in, you know. He's like, all right, see you back at weigh-in. And I was just sitting there just fishing, you know, and I was literally watching the time go by. And, every 5 seconds I look at my phone and go, all right, I got about 10 more minutes. Or however, actually I had a lot more than that. Because I planned on fishing down a whole stretch back here or whatever. And I was just watching the time, managing it, trying to manage it right. But I was just wrong on the time I had to be in. So.
You've seen probably veterans over the years. You've seen them. And I've made the joke myself, like, what, you really got to write your weigh-in time on your hand? That seems strange. It doesn't seem so strange in this situation, does it? No, it doesn't. You know how much I would have paid or thought about that to write that on my hand? But see, that's silly. It's just a little thing, right? Like, see, that's how I kind of, like, that's what I've lived through life, is like, I don't need that. It's just a little thing. Like, you know, it don't matter. But, you know, little things somehow magically turn into, you know, giant things. Like, you know, just poof, gone. But it is. It's definitely, you know, that's like, if anybody, and it's not so much like me as like going through fishing, whatever else. Like, there's so many people out there that have a lot of life struggles that it would just be so, you know, like it'd be easier for me just to give up right now. Like, done with this, heck with this, you know, like, I'm over it. Like, I'm just gonna go up there and piddle with my feet in the water. You know, it's just, it's done. I mean, it wrecked me. You know, like, it just completely, all motivation is just like washed away. Like, literally just gone. I got no motivation to really fish, like, right now, like, zero.
So hopefully that changes in 17 hours of driving, 20 hours of driving. But it's just like, there's so many easier ways to do it. It's just to give up. That's always the easiest way. You just give up. Like, throw the towel in, heck with it. Whatever you got. Family issues, whatever. Like, literally, 1 minute can change your life forever. You can get on a head-on collision, whatever else. But, like, there's always, if you stay positive about it, it's a lot worse than just throwing the towel in. So that's like, yeah, we're 30 points behind. There's a lot of scary people. I mean, truly, that's why I was just so, like, grueling at myself to keep that lead. Everything I could do, keep that lead. Like, this year, I've lost very few fish, and I've really been impressed with how I've been fishing this year, just because I've lost a few, don't get me wrong, but I've just been on the next one. As soon as I get that bite, I don't think about that bite, I think about the next bite. That's just how it's been, and, we're not going to give up. I thought about it, I was like, kind of tempting, but I was like, no, like, there's no reason to. It's, fish to win now, and that's kind of a good feeling too. I like to have that feeling. Them guys don't have that feeling. Maybe they do, but I know I didn't. I was like so nervous about this and so nervous about that, but now, what do I got to lose? Like, technically, it's kind of like that's how, like, where I am right now is, what do I got to lose? I got literally fish to win. Like, I got nothing else. I might as well do that and quit letting it overwhelm me of where I get, so, like, because I wasn't sleeping at night. I was like, it was a lot of stress.
So leading up to this,
yeah,
like, this kettle's been boiling.
Yes, it has, and that's why all this has just been the way it has. I've just been so stressed about it. I've been so stressed about the northern swing that it made me just shake about this one, because I knew how good I had to do in this one. And when it happened, I literally just think I lost my marbles. Like, I just literally, because I was like working so hard, and when everything just lined up in a line, and I had them sitting in my box on ice. Literally, I was just watching them, just like, okay, you're good, babies, come on. And I just put a little ice cube in there, put a little G-juice, put a little ice in there. I was like, dude, y'all are perfect. Like, this is great. And it just, it has been boiling for a while. That's the main thing about it. I think it was just how much stress and everything about it, because you don't get this opportunity like every day. That's just not how it works, and especially as young as I am, how cool it would be, first year, when the rookie of the year, the angler year, whatever, and not saying cocky or anything else like that. It's just that chance is what I had. That's
you still have that chance.
I know, you're right. You got to think about it like that, and it is, but it's just that fact of I literally had it in my hands, like right there, like. So, and I could have went out literally today and caught 9 pounds, still been in the whatever top 20 on a bad day, and most likely I really thought I was really going to catch him today, like maybe even again like I did, maybe not quite, but I feel like I would have caught way over 12 or bigger, because I figured out how to do it. And so it's just heart-wrenching, and I've never, when I answered that phone, and because I was like, what's going on? And like, where are you? I'm like, I just threw I don't know what, everything lights on right then. And I literally just threw the bottom of my phone in the boat. I almost took off with the trolling motor down, ripped the trolling motor up, almost lost rods coming back. Like, it was just, I've never had my heart drop so fast. Like, I don't think there was anything that could happen that. But when I got back to the weigh-in, I was like, I was fed up with it. There was so much stress, even before it, not even after any of this happened, that I just couldn't hold it. I had my moment, and it happens. I hope a lot of people didn't see it, whatever else happened, but I had my moment, and it just happens. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna say it's because I'm young, but it definitely.
But you are.
Yeah, it definitely. It had a very stressed upon it, and it just made me do things that I wish I didn't do.
Is this job harder than you imagined?
Yeah, it really is. Like,
so much more than fishing.
Oh yeah, like, it's not even fishing. Shoot, that's the part that really got me is, like, I've tried walking. Like, everybody says walk that straight line. Yeah, I've been walking it, and still the little things, like, I still do stuff wrong. Like, we're all human, but at the same time, like, I never want. That's just kind of been it. Like, I never wanted to break a rule. Like, all these people saying, I'm like, oh, he's cheating, he's doing this, oh my gosh, yeah, he's doing this, he's getting an edge on me, he's doing this, like, all that stuff. Like, the imagination of some of these people is absolutely, that impresses me more than what anything is. I'm like, that's crazy, like literally. And it's like, I don't know, it just, for how hard Rick has been on me my whole life about walking that straight line, it just kind of hurts to see somebody just kind of trash it. Like, oh, he's the, he's a cheater. That's the only reason he got here. All this other stuff, It's just, it's a hard path. If anybody thinks professional fishing is just like, oh, you show up if you're good or not, or if you're bad, no. It's just much as a mental game as catching the fish and then doing everything right, and then to make a living, you got to do sponsors right, and then, it's a lot more. Yeah, if you plan on making a living by just winning, good luck. You're better than I am. Like that's just how it's gonna. You're gonna have your ups, you're gonna have your downs. Like the whole deal is sponsorship wise, business side of it wise, and it's just a lot of stress. Going into this next year, I'm like, okay, how can I, for my life, how can I prepare myself? Like even though I'm 19, like I just invested in a bunch of stocks. I just invested in an IRA, whatever you guys call it. I don't know a whole lot about it, but like that's the only thing. Like I'm already thinking about that. Like I'm like, I don't have retirement. I don't have nothing like that. Like there's just so much going on this year that it's just like I don't even know. Sometimes I don't even know where I'm at. Like it's just little things like that you got to think about. It's like when I'm older, I don't want to be still working. Like if I don't want to be 60 years old, live the best of my life, and then I don't have enough money, and now I gotta go work a whatever 6 to 5 job, whatever they say, and that's kind of the thing is just I was like every dime that I win in the tournament, I don't buy nothing. I go straight in something. It goes straight in either a truck or a boat or trying to go investments now. Like when I found out I didn't have the credit card that gave me the percentage or whatever every time you buy something, I was like let down. I was like, dude, I just lost. Like now I got one. So it's little stuff like that. And it's little stuff I stress myself out on that don't need to be stressed out. Like everybody says, like, dude, you're 19. I'm like, yeah, that's the point. Like I'm young. I have time. I have literally, since I'm young, and if I do it right, I can set myself up really well.
Yeah.
And that's like, I hate to see it. I hate to be like, I would have, I could have.
Yeah.
I do not want to be that guy. If I'm that guy, shame on me. I want to be looking back when I'm older and be like, thank goodness they pushed me to go harder. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of that boils down to, really, a lot of it.
What advice would you give yourself, obviously today, but if you could go back to the beginning of this season, what advice what is another 19-year-old that comes and does this, what is your advice to them? Because obviously you've grown and learned a lot and paid for some valuable lessons this
absolutely.
year.
And that's like anybody else. Like some people says I just want to make one thing clear. Like if straight up for the camera, let me tell you, after this happened, after today, I give whatever. You don't like me, you don't like me. I don't care. And that's like the part of it is like, I speak how I feel. And I feel like that's the best thing. Like even not in advising anything. Like somebody that sugarcoats something, that don't ever feel good on me. I don't like it. Like if somebody's like, oh, it's it's all good, all this. Like no, it's really not. Like tell me what I've done, tell me where I can learn from it. And that's like a lot of things that happen is like me. That's kind of been me really. Is I've been kind of like it'll be all right, Trey. It'll be fine. And so then I don't see the importance of the little things. That's technically what this is. As I've been kind of it's all right. It's fine. So, somebody took care of it, or it's all right. We're good, and that makes the little things have zero value. Like that's technically what it is. And if I just now it's a hard one to swallow. I wish I would have never had to swallow it, and I wish I'd have figured it out before this. But now I realize, just being irresponsible. It don't matter. You can be irresponsible for half your life and never get penalized for it. You can be irresponsible for 7 minutes and it ruined it. That's what I'm saying. But there's no reason to have any excuse like that. Like if I just take it and think about it and do everything as important as everything. Treat everything as important as the most important theft. I'll be fine. That's just what I lacked that. I was like, okay, the important things are important things. The little things, who cares? Little things. You focus on the most important things. But if you focus on everything and you realize, like, okay, now I realize, like, this can happen.
Yeah.
You're not invincible. That's what that's what I was getting. I was like, dang, this is great, like.
Do you start to feel that you were invincible?
No, I would have never told anybody, but I was.
Inside, you
yeah,
have to.
I was feeling, I never, I didn't never want to come across cocky, anything else to anybody, but yeah, like deep down in my own self, I was like.
That's also the power.
Yeah,
You can say it's cockiness, but that is the swag that every angler of the year has that whole season, you feel.
Yep.
So you're 19 years old. This has happened quick to the public, so they're going to say he's cocky. It's the same swag that anybody carries, but I think it's also life. Like you look at, I tell my kids it all the time. I'm like, as you age, that's when stuff can screw up. Like, and more important stuff. You make a wrong decision, it can really screw up your life. You can end up in jail. You can end up, and this is nothing like that. But in your world, it is. This is as detrimental a penalty as we've seen any prospective angler of the year take. I mean, Greg Hackney had a lead a few years ago, and he got DQ'd from an event for fishing inside a marina, and that kind of derailed him. But other than that, I mean, I can't think of another one that's this detrimental. But
I know it's just and if anything, is it pushing me to go harder? Absolutely. But I screwed up, and I don't know if we can recover from it. It's a lot to recover from. All them guys are northern swing people, like pretty well, and I'm not. That's I had to do my damage down this way, and I did, and I just screwed up. But it's we'll see what happens. Maybe I might have a light bulb moment in the month I'm up there, and maybe I might figure it out. That's all I gotta have. That's all I need. Because I realized on herring fishery, that's exactly on Murray. I had the light bulb moment. I was like, what am I doing? And I started running stuff, and boom, 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 4-pounder, 3-pounder, 2-pounder, 4-pounder. I'm like, poosh, light bulb, and then all of a sudden I just started running. I was like comfortable. Like I ain't ever comfortable throwing a whatever caffeine shad over or whatever else. Like I'm not comfortable like that, but I was. I had a light bulb moment, and I was like, I felt like I've been doing this forever. I had the moment, and so that's what I need. Like, if I ever have a light bulb up north, I'll have confidence. That's all it is. It's confidence. I've got burnt once up there, and I'm like, it's too hard. I got to catch 20 pounds to get a check. No, that's not fun. You catch the biggest bag, and you're so excited, and all of a sudden you come in and you don't even get a check. That's how I'm like just kind of negative. I just drown myself down with that, But now I'm like, well, let's catch 25, and then we'll get a check. But then we might be in the top 10 or something like that. So if I ever have a light bulb moment there and realize how they work, they're just a totally different creature, Like, okay, for instance, last year, I guess when it's sunny, you're supposed to go shallow, I guess. I don't know. And then when it's cloudy, you're supposed to go deep. Well, I went shallow when it was cloudy.
The opposite of what
and
most
deep,
people think.
Yeah, and that's like, and I was like, because that's largemouth, it's cloudy, you go throw a topwater in the bank, you go throw this, go throw that, and I really thought I was going to make a good move till I was like, where's the fish I had gone? Or I couldn't see him, one of the two, because I was sight fishing and all this other stuff. Like, it was just, I don't know, it was wild, but.
You got a month to figure stuff out, and I from what I've seen this year, I think a month from now you'll be a much different fisherman.
Oh boy!
And I don't think you'll ever be late. I mean, you showed up in time for this. You were early for this.
I was, yes, exactly. But see, like I'm not even gonna if I come in, I'm gonna set my timer for like 5 minutes. I have to be at the ramp, checked in before 5 minutes, because I'm always like that guy that I'm like come in with like 50 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, like. I do more math trying to calculate how I can be closer than just, like trying to just get back. And that's kind of been the thing. I think I'm just, you can catch it. I've caught a couple fish in that last 50 seconds, 2 minutes, whatever else. But, the reality of it is got to be in. Like I don't know if I'll ever push it close again, because, this is a scar that's going to be seen for a while, and it's just, I don't know if I'll ever let it be close. I don't think so. I don't know if I can mentally take. If I was late again, I'd just be like, yep, I'm not born to fish. I'm done. But it's all right.
I think not only you were born to fish, you were bred to fish. You put in a lot of work for a long time. And, you just made the Angler of the Year race a lot more compelling. It's tightened up.
I just wanted it to be, exciting. Yeah, I just wanted it to be exciting. I wanted a comeback story. I mean, come on. We'll see what happens. But, I thought it'd be really cool. I figured I could be all the people would like to follow it a little better.
Yeah, well,
I
appreciate that. We appreciate that on
You're
behalf
welcome.
of
I
Bass.
wanted you guys to have a story to tell.
Thank you.
That's why I was just watching out for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Dude, the fact that you took the time to be as open with me as you have been, and we're recording this less than 24 hours after this happened. In other sports, you see people disappear. You don't see them. Somebody loses Super Bowl, you don't see them for months.
Yep.
To be back here and to own up to kind of a mistake says a lot about you. And
it's just like, shoot, if I can help one person, not me, not think about the little things, I'm gonna tell them to think about the little things. Hey, when somebody gets on to you, your mom gets on to you, whatever. I'm not speaking to everybody, but I was saying, some people, if you're younger or anything else, mom gets on about you something, that's a little thing. Mom, why you getting on me about that? I got that, and then you never do it. And then it's like, oh, oh, maybe I did need that, something like that, It's just stuff no matter how important something is, there's always some sort of positivity. It's not great, don't get me wrong. There's not much positivity in this, But, we just got to look at some, some of it is just whatever. We needed a comeback story, so now we got a chance, At least we're not completely, lose a classic or none of that stuff, At least, got DQ'd and we're in third in points, I think, or something like that. And,
yeah. Something to grow from.
Yep.
Safe travels.
Thanks, buddy.
That's it. That's all. I get it. It was a marathon show, but you made it. I mean, we made it all the way here. So if you've stuck around this long, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all those things to make this show social media cool. I thank you all. I thank all our guests. Happy 4th of July to my Americans, and happy Canada Day was on Monday. For all my fellow Canadians. Have a great week. Enjoy being. And until next time, Bob Cobb, why don't you go ahead and take it away?
Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, because Bob Cobb of the Bassmasters told you to. You hear?